coming right there.
All right, hey guys, Carl here with Tactical Rifleman, and this is not Chad. You guys know I've been publicizing this, and I was bringing in not just a guest onto our live stream, but somebody that I consider a personal hero. So, John, first, thank you so much for coming out. If you do not know who this fine gentleman is, one, you've been living under a rock, but two, I'm going to let you know I am, because I'm long-winded, but I'm for sure going to let you know. But before I do that, you guys know the deal. I gotta share the love for our sponsors. We've got our mediators out there, our moderators. Chad is right here. You're not missing out on Chad. He's here.
He's here.
Okay, there you go. So if you're a troll and you're in my chat room, I invite you to get the hell out right now. I don't have time for you. This is not the place for it. I've got good people here with me. I don't have time for your jackassery. But what I do have is a couple minutes to talk about our sponsors. We've got our usual loyal Tactical Tuesday sponsors. Sportsman's Guide right off the bat. I even framed their picture, dude. That's not bad. It's
not bad at all.
Right?
Yeah.
I use Tactical20. That's our promo code. They'll take care of you there. EDC Coffee. You guys know I love my coffee. EDC Coffee is right up there, literally Black Rifle Coffee, all the other ones. And I got a promo code for them also. Use code TACTICAL, saves you 10% off your whole order. Big Daddy Unlimited is sponsoring tonight, along with Global Ordnance, White Label Armory. You familiar with White Label Armory?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So
that's why I came to you.
Exactly. So we all like our expensive guns, our fancy guns, right? These guys with their Daniel Defense and all these. You buy your expensive guns, but a lot of those parts are outsourced to other companies to be made. White Label Armory was one of those places that was making all these parts. And they said, well, they're going on all these expensive guns, but we're the ones making them. And they realized literally they make enough to make their own guns. So what they did was they offered top quality parts, but they're all in guns that they sell that you're paying white label price for. So when it's White Label Armory, great guns. Safe Life Defense is sponsoring again tonight. They've got plenty of armor in stock. I have a promo code for them also. Tactical Rifleman, all one word, saves you 10% off everything at their website. Good stuff. Again, right off the bat, I would like to welcome everybody here to Tactical Tuesday. This is episode 76. But what makes this one special is I have with me today John Stryker Myers. But so you don't go just by Stryker, you go by...
The nickname is Tilt.
Tilt.
Like the pinball machine.
Is that like how you got it?
That's where it started.
Literally.
Yeah, years ago, just rattling the old machine. Like when you lose at a pinball machine, you walk away pissed off. When I lose, I shake the shit out of it. I see my nickname in neon, and then I walk away.
Then you walk away.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Guys, you know I'm old. I'm a fag. I'm a former action guy. That's me. I'm a former action guy. Green Beret. Served my time in the military, 25 years. Yeah, you guys know a lot about me, but when people ask, Carl, why did you join the military? And what I tell them is when I was in junior high school, my son didn't know what he wanted to do in his life. My daughters don't know what they want to do in their life. They go through college, they don't know what they want to do. When I was in junior high school, early 80s, Saturday afternoon TV, I saw the movie The Green Berets with John Wayne. And I knew right then and there in junior high school, that's what I want to do. Now, I want to go be a Green Beret. Now, fast forward, back in the late 80s, you couldn't just go Green Beret right off the street. You had to serve time in the regular army. I went infantry recon platoon because I wanted to be a good Green Beret. But the more I started getting into reconnaissance, and I was a recon originally in Korea, but then I went to the 101st. I got good at it. But my heroes, my heroes were always going to be the Green Berets. But you got to remember, I was in a peacetime army And when was the last great war? It was, for special ops guys, it was Vietnam. And my heroes quickly turned into not just John Wayne and his little A-team of actors. It turned into the MACV-SOG guys. And I would see them at the VFWs, and I'd talk to them, and a lot of them don't share their stories, and unfortunately, a lot of them are gone now.
Oh yeah.
But John, again, brother, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. And for a lot of our viewers, they have no idea what MACV-SOG is. They don't even know what the acronym stands for. So
okay.
you want to give them a one over the world of how John. They know how you got the nickname Tilt. How'd you get into MACV-SOG?
Well, it all started out after flunking out of college, and in fact, you and I have something in common because I saw the movie The Green Berets. We just got done our in-country training. I said, "That's what I want to be." No, but. But then within a day, after we saw the movie, at the end of our in-country training, a little guy comes out, and he goes, "We're looking for volunteers." And my buddy Johnny McIntyre goes, "For what, Sergeant Major?" Can't say. Either you're in or you're out.
Oh, that's the best stuff. And
that's
a lot of people shy away from that. That's not you.
You guys shied away. Well, we just saw the damn movie. I read the book.
Yeah.
So Johnny Mac and I and a few of our other buddies that we went through combo training with, we all signed up. Went to Da Nang. That's where the headquarters was at the time. We go in and we all had our pads and pencils and sit down. And the Sergeant Major comes out for the briefing and says, "Put that shit away. This is a top secret briefing. Welcome to the secret war." So he told us, in front of you is a document. You cannot talk about anything we say from this point forward. Sign it or leave. And we all stayed. Signed the document. Then we got the introduction to the Secret War, which at that time, this is May 1968. The Secret War began for the U.S. technically in June of 64.
Okay.
Ran for 8 years until 64, 72.
Really?
Ran continuous.
64. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So in the first couple of years, there was a lot of juggling, trying to get air assets dedicated to the mission, because that was always one of the issues in the early days. And when you went across the fence, we had no direct support from any traditional units, no artillery. It was strictly air power.
Yeah.
Our air power. So the Secret War had been going on at that point for 4 years. We signed up, go through the briefing, and it was the Military Assistance Command Vietnam Studies and Observations Group. Initially, they called it Special Operations Group, but they realized the snoopy-ass reporters would glam in on that.
Special Ops, yeah.
So they called it Studies and Observations Group. And they kept it hidden from the public for years. And so that's where it was set up. And so we entered the war in May of 68. By that time, which we didn't realize, was that there have been several SOG recon teams that had either been completely wiped out just in the first 4.5 months of 68. We lost several teams, many of which are still missing in action today. Yeah. And then in our case, me, Johnny McIntyre, and John Hutchins, we flew up. We get on a South Vietnamese helicopter. Nobody told us about this part. So we're in country. You see all the movies, the TV, and everything. Most of the footage was always Hueys. We go, wait, what's this? It was a Sikorsky H-34, which had the old B-17 9-cylinder head engine in it.
Oh, yeah. Up in the nose of it, right?
Yeah, underneath the pilot. And the pilot sat on top of it. So they had a better view.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was just really something that we fell in love with, because the South Vietnamese pilots were fearless. I'm alive today thanks to them, to the recon guys on my team. So we get on the first ride, we go to Phu Bai, I get off, a recon team gets on. It disappeared and never heard from again. Welcome to the Secret War. So that's how I got my job.
I want that to click I want that to sink in. Literally, he's there 12 seconds, and the team that got on the helicopter disappeared. If you guys know our book list, Tactical Rifleman has a book list at our Amazon store, and most of them are reference manuals, survival manuals, this manual, that manual. Very few of them are actually history books, but the top of that list is the book SOG. And I've mentioned the book before. If you guys have never read that book, besides, we're going to get to your books here.
Yeah.
But there are lots of little vignettes in there where they, like John was saying, a team would disappear forever and never to be heard from again. That's crazy.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of people can't fathom that today, where we've been fighting this freaking war for 20 years now, and they just keep dragging this thing on and on and on. All right,
but anyways,
so you've been there 30 seconds.
30 seconds, the team goes in, they disappear. A Bright Light, which is a team designed to go in to find a team, they go in, they get shot up completely. One guy's KIA. All the Americans are wounded, some very seriously, and one guy literally had his boot blown off by an American hand grenade, which was an indication that the NVA, the North Vietnamese Army, the communists, had our weapons.
Yep.
And we assumed they got it from our guys, that we assumed, again, without accurate knowledge. And so today, one of the heartburns for us, 52 years later, Glenn Lane, 53 years, Glenn Lane and Robert Owen, the two Americans on that team, are still amongst the 50 Green Berets that are listed as missing in action in Laos alone, just from the Secret War.
Yeah.
Plus, you throw in another 100+ aviators from the Air Force, the Army, and the Marine Corps, because the Marine Corps had gunships assigned to support SOG across the fence. And they were amazing. And the aviators were they put their lives on the line every day. You've worked with aviators enough. Today you have the 160th.
I actually visited them, a couple of them today while I was at Fort Campbell. I did. I got to see what Bell hopes the 101st selects to replace the Black Hawk, but it basically looks like a Black Hawk, but it's got tilt rotors like the Osprey. You can't drive in the back like an Osprey. You can put ATVs and razors in them, but picture, because a Black Hawk's already faster than a Huey, much faster than a UH-1.
They're amazing.
But now once they tilt those rotors forward, that puppy damn near runs as fast as a P-51 Mustang. It literally hauls. That's great gas mileage. So I hope you and I live long enough to see all the new toys they're getting on the news.
Is that the variation of the Osprey?
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah, I've ridden on that thing in Baghdad and Iraq a few times. I didn't know, but you got to remember the Osprey was 1980s technology when they first started coming out with them.
Right.
This thing, they say they've taken everything that they learned from the Osprey, and now they've put it into this new replacement for the Black Hawk. So we'll see.
Yeah, but they go into an LZ, they can't defend themselves.
Yeah, and literally, it comes down so slow. We had to change our tactics in Iraq, literally. There's no more landing on the X, no more landing on the Y. You have to land far enough away that they can't hear this thing. And then you've got to walk in, which of course somebody lets them know. And now they've got time to set up ambushes. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Osprey. That picture's actually taken the night I got on that Osprey right there.
There they are.
Did I step out and you started talking about the stuff? I'm not sure if we can even mention what we looked at today.
No. These are not the droids you're looking for. Not at all.
The place that had all the no photography signs, Carl.
I didn't take a single picture.
I didn't
today,
either.
Chad.
Mental images. Those things were pretty cool, even though I didn't see what I saw. Ish.
We have a good time.
Yeah.
We definitely had a good time. All right. Now, all the teams, they have different names. Yours was
Idaho, right? And
tell us about what makes up a team. Like I always see, there's always some Americans, but then there's some indigenous troops also.
Well, when I landed in '68, there were 6 FOBs. So FOB 1 was Fubai, where I landed.
Forward operating base.
Right. And so FOB 2 was Canteen,
Okay.
which was down 2 corps. And Vietnam was divided into 4 corps. I Corps was right on the DMZ. Then you head south, there's 2 corps. 3 corps where Saigon was, the capital of South Vietnam. 4 corps, Mekong Delta.
Okay.
And so FOB 3 was at Quai Son. FOB 4, Da Nang. FOB 5 was Ban Me Tuot. And then FOB 6 was Ho Nuc Tao, which was northwest of Saigon.
Okay.
And so those 2 FOBs ran missions into Cambodia under different rules of engagement. And the rest we did either, like FOB 2 did both. They did Cambodia sometimes, or on the Parrot's Beak, which was right between South Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia.
Okay.
Horrific targets. And then our targets up north in Laos, or the DMZ, and then sometimes for going for down pilots into Laos or North Vietnam on occasion. And so
what makes up a team?
the teams were made up of 2 or 3 American special forces. So by '68, it was all Green Berets running the teams.
Okay.
And we had indigenous troops. So in my case, I had South Vietnamese, and the team that got wiped out, we were fortunate because Spider Parks had been on Idaho, had just gotten promoted to take his own team. So he didn't go on that fateful mission in May 20th of '68.
Yeah.
So they kicked Spider back to, okay, your team's not going to be your old team. He was the 1-0, got Don Wolcombe to be the assistant team leader to 1-1. And then I was the radio operator to 1-2.
Okay.
And of course, I had gotten busted before I went to Vietnam. So I was an E-deuce holding down the E8 slot.
An E2 private.
Yeah.
Green Beret.
Yes, sir.
All right, now.
So Spider promptly programmed the PSC so I could roll up my sleeves so people would think I'd be a sergeant.
How do you get busted? Do we even want to ask? Was this?
Oh, no, it's just a bullshit thing. Because I was commo,
Yeah.
our whole commo class was sent TDY to Fort Gordon for 12 weeks to learn RTT, radio teletype.
Yeah.
Because the SOG camps had to have top secret Green Berets on the teletypes.
Yeah.
But they were just tightening things because there are obvious leaks that we were dealing with during the eight years of the Secret War.
Okay.
And so we're down there, and we just ran into 2 butter bars, 2 young lieutenants just out of OCS. And they had all these rules. You're supposed to be in bed at 10 o'clock. You got to do this. You got to be up morning formation. And we just ignored them all.
Yeah, of course.
So finally, they had me and Johnny McIntyre, my buddy. They brought us in. And I'm the first one in. They had 8 Article 15s. This guy goes, pick one. So I picked one, crumbled it up, and threw it at him. He goes, you got 9. And so I got demoted right there. Then Mac went in, he got busted. And so we were E-deuces going to Vietnam.
Well, you know what they say, John.
What do they say, Chad?
Good combat soldiers don't make good garrison soldiers.
No, there's so much truth to that. So much. I could introduce you to Sularoo someday. You will love him. He
Oh, is that right?
does
A boy named Sue?
Yeah. Yeah. Sue deserted from the French-born Legion.
Really?
The boy's a train wreck. Full-blown train wreck. You would love Sue. Sue is definitely break glass in time of war. That's why me and Sue we got along so well. So good people.
So the indigenous troops, like in my case, had South Vietnamese that were fearless. We had Chinese Nungs who were Chinese, and they had been in South Vietnam for a few centuries, and they were taller and just unquestionable valor. And then you had the Montagnards, and then sometimes we had the Cambodians, and there were very mixed results with the Cambodians, but the Montagnards were just amazing people.
They were a little smaller stature, though, weren't they?
Smaller stature, couldn't throw a hand grenade for a shit.
Could probably kick a soccer ball, though.
Oh, no, not even that.
Really?
This is primitive. We're going from loincloths.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they're good with crossbows. But
Can't throw a hand grenade.
No.
See, we take it for granted because, our American pastime before they invented video games was baseball.
Sure.
Any American boy could throw a baseball. But I've seen Europeans. There's a reason why the Germans had stick grenades, because likewise, they couldn't throw a grenade to save their lives either. Go ahead, man.
But no, like in our case, it would be like we had 3 Americans in the beginning, and we had 9 indigenous. So we had to go out and rehire for all the ones that were killed or missing. They had listed missing in action for months before they formally declared them dead. And so we had to train up the new people, including me, because I was green as grass. And then so it'd be 3. Then when it came time for a mission, it would be the 3 Americans and then 3 or 5 indigenous.
Okay.
That would go out on a mission.
Helicopter full of guys.
Right.
Yep.
And sometimes, depending on the elevation, time of year, the heat, etc., might be 2 helicopters.
Yeah.
And I prefer the 6-man team because under a firefight, you could usually get 6 on one bird.
Okay.
And that way it doesn't necessitate getting the second bird in and getting it out and leaving 2 or 3 guys on the ground.
Yeah.
So there are a few times we ran 8, and in the beginning, that's the way it was. And so all the other teams were designed that way. And then by November, it was just me and Bubba Shore, John Shore, that came on the team. Don Wolken, Spider got promoted to Covey Rider.
Okay.
Don Wolken eventually became a Covey Rider.
What's a Covey Rider?
Oh, I'm sorry. You had a FAC. So
Forward
the
air
code name
controller.
was the
Yep.
Forward Air Controller. And for SOG, you had an Air Force pilot that flew the plane.
Yeah.
But you had a Green Beret SOG veteran who'd been on the ground. He was the commo link to the people on the ground.
Yeah.
So in my case, I was very fortunate. I had Spider Parks.
Yeah.
So when we're in tactical situation, Spider would put his left ball on the line to get us out of there.
And the advantage of having somebody in the aircraft that understands what's going on the ground, it sounds trivial, but you got to remember, think triple canopy jungle, think
150
cloud, yeah, I think cloud cover. He can't see what you're doing. They didn't have the thermals that they have today, but even with the thermals we have today, a lot of times they can't see you, but by you being able to talk to him and he knows, instead of them having to ask, hey, what are they doing right now? He already knows. That fact knows what's going on in your head, knows what your team's trying to do, and he can foresee what the needs are of the guys on the ground. He can maneuver assets. And before you even ask for it, so I actually got a chance to fly on a AC-130 Spectre gunship in over Afghanistan while we were doing some ops there. Same type thing.
Really?
I got to fly on a J-Stars plane, which are terrible for ground surveillance radar. But the reason why I flew on it was that was right when I don't remember what op it was. We had a op go sideways in the initial invasion of Afghanistan, right when the AWACS plane was off station refueling, and the J-Stars plane, which had good radios, ended up playing the part of it. So we started putting guys up on that. So I've been in that seat, but never had to do the combat ops support like what you're talking about. I can just imagine, even being as bored as he was up there, it's such a critical role, brother. Such a critical
Oh yeah,
role.
once we were in a tactical situation, then things really heated up. Mm-hmm. And in fact, in John Placer's book, you're talking about John's books.
Yeah.
He talks about one of the times, I think very briefly, he's very modest, but there are times, a couple times, and I've talked to guys who were on the ground who were new. It was their first or second mission. They're on the radio.
Yeah.
And John said, look, he's got to walk him back. First of all, you got to settle down.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time
Yeah.
and talk so I can hear you. If I can't hear you, we can't give you tactical air.
Yeah.
And there are guys that have written about being calmed down by John. In our case, Spider Parks,
Yeah.
we had another young radio operator, and Spider or Pat Watkins.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were veterans that had been on the ground. They knew what was going on. And it's just it's a critical link, because a lot of times you don't have to explain so many things. You can just say, we got this. They know what that means.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the enemies coming from here, if we need to help to find an LZ because we can't see it. We're in a 150
there
feet
could
tall
literally
jungle,
be
triple canopy.
an opening
Well, yeah.
300 meters away, and you'd blow right by it because you couldn't see it in the jungle.
Yeah, in one of the major firefights we had, We were engaged for 4 hours, stacked up the bodies, and near the end, Spider just said, I think I found a spot where a helicopter can hover. And so the South Vietnamese helicopter pilot, Captain Tin, came in and literally hovered for 10 minutes. And we had to run through elephant grass, and it was only 15 yards at the most, but it took us 10 minutes to get through that thick elephant grass, which is like 10 to 15 feet tall. We wound up falling down and run over each other to get to the helicopter. Wow. And so he hung in there for that period of time. So we didn't know there was anything. We thought we were just in the jungle. Yeah. And Sparty goes, no, go here, pop, pop. And
you said a 4-hour firefight. Now, a lot of our viewers, they've seen the movies, the SEAL break contact drills where everybody shoots a full auto. They do the pretty Australian peels and everything. That's good for breaking contact one time, and then you run as fast as you can.
If you can run.
If you can run, exactly. And that's the part a lot of people don't understand is right now, everybody, a lot of people, a lot of my concerned citizens out there, they have plate carriers, and you see a lot of military guys with just 3 magazines. They might have another one on their belt. And I try to tell people, look, that's the war we're fighting right now is not where you're going to get in a sustained gunfight. You were in a 4-hour sustained gunfight, the one you were just talking about. Yeah. One of my favorite parts of your book is, because I'm all about logistics. Logistics is very important. Guys, this is his book, Across the Fence, and the link for it, and hopefully Susan can put it in the chat window for you. The link for it at our Amazon store, but you can get it anywhere. Again, Across the Fence. We'll get to your other book here in a minute.
That's right. No.
But there's a place in here, and it's just kind of, this is what everybody else carried. This is what we carried, and this is what we didn't carry. That's literally, I believe, is the name of the chapter.
Correct.
And stuff we carried, stuff we didn't carry, chapter 16. I'm looking at the list, and I'm looking at, and we've done some crazy modification of gear and stuff. When I saw that M79 that you guys had cut down,
you were envious. You wanted one.
Why didn't we cut that down like that? We shortened it.
That's what Jocko said. Dude, Jocko Willink said the same thing.
That thing's the size of my freaking pistol. M79. 4-hour sustained gunfight. How many rounds? And you're running what, 20 round mags, maybe a few 30 round.
No,
just 20 round mags.
This is 68. No 30 round mags.
No 30 round mags.
So everything was 20 with 18 rounds in each.
Yeah, because we download a couple because the military mag springs compress, right. And yeah. So and I still do that to this day. Everybody says you don't need to with modern mags.
Why take a chance?
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, we did that, and it went through 600 rounds plus every hand grenade, and then I carried 10 to 12.
How many mags do you have to carry to have 600 rounds of ammo on
I forget the math.
Oh my God.
18 divided is 600. I think the number, it's a lot.
All right. Guys, John is a legend. He's a monster. He's a solid piece of steel. I got that. He is. John is smaller than I am. All right. Put you in the hot jungle where humidity just eats you alive. And I've read the stories, brother, and it's just, it's amazing. You're talking 90 pounds of gear.
Right.
And you didn't have all the tough book computers and spotting scopes and SATCOM antennas. You were carrying how many frag grenades per guy?
Well, the Americans would usually carry 10 to 12.
10 to 12 frag grenades.
Frags. Then you have one Willie Peter for good luck, always a Willie Pete.
Yep.
And then you have one CS,
which are awesome gas. in the jungle, thick woods. If you got to break contact, right. CS is awesome. I'm agreeing with them there. Without no, I have CS'd so many bad guys in training. I've never fought in the jungle. I've never fought in thick woods. But I've said this before, that the toughest missions I've ever done were missions that we did in training, because SF, you were never in SF in a peacetime army, but we would make our training missions so hard that anything that could possibly go wrong would happen. And yes, breaking contact CS is awesome. I CS so many guys in the 101st. I CS so many Marines, so many people in the 82nd Airborne.
Is that right?
I would CS that was first thing for breaking contact, because all we had were blanks, full auto CS grenades, and then just start breaking contact. Dude, I can't get over 600 rounds in 18 round magazine.
Now, don't forget our M79. There's another 12 there for that.
God.
So
So
then I carried the radio and then the battery for it.
did you run a pistol, a sidearm?
No. With the M79, we had ball bearings for the first round. So
Nice.
if we got caught up in between mag changes, that was ready to go.
Okay.
And you just pull up and pop.
I'm big on improvised anything.
Oh, yeah.
Claymore mines. I love hearing about some of the old MACV-SOG stories about
5-second
Claymore
fuses.
mines. Did you ever use Claymore mines?
Is the Pope Catholic? Do you like sex? I use claymores.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Nice. All right. Okay.
You don't forget, you got to ask me about the 5-second fuses.
Yes. All right, elaborate. 5-second fuses.
We had, because several of our teams had just been overrun, one of the thoughts was, what else can you do if we have to run? What can we do for delay tactics?
Yeah, because now remember, gents and lasses, we got a few females here. We got,
Indeed.
you see them, they're sitting in the
Yeah,
back
there
row,
they are.
in
Yeah,
the back
yeah.
row, a
There
bunch
they
of
are.
nutbag females. We love them. We love them. The Claymore mine, that's that flat-faced one, slightly curved, ball bearings on the front, C4 inside. It's designed to be command detonated. It's got basically 100 feet of wire with a clacker. Designed to be command detonated. That's not how you guys use them.
Right. We only did it a few times, but the one time we did it was on Thanksgiving Day, 68, when the point and the tail for two different NVA divisions were coming after us. So we were slowing them down with our gunfire, the M79 fire, and claymores,
Yeah.
clackers. And then if we moved back to the LZ, we put down claymores with 5-second fuses, pop the fuse and run. And then we're rotating the security, but still it's more of a run to get away from the claymore. But
So even if they're
down.
running forward, that 5 seconds, they're pretty well getting right on top of this thing when it goes off.
They ate them. But it slowed us down enough,
Yeah.
slowed them down enough so that we could get to the LZ.
That buys you 5 more seconds.
Yeah.
And that becomes 10 seconds, and that becomes 15. And you buy enough 5 seconds, that's enough time for you to get on the helicopter safely.
And because you're into training, the training that we had done, hours of doing just that with claymores, with the time fuses, so that by the time I get back to where the helicopter is going to come in at the LZ, I can hear them approaching, Bubba and Sal, or one of our South Vietnamese, and myself, we all three had claymores that had been placed as we're doing moving backwards. And so the final blast, we blow these claymores off, jump on the helicopters, we're leaving, because there was like single canopy jungle in Cambodia. You could see more. That's why we could see them literally running towards Port Arms. And they came out of the jungle as we're lifting off. And it was muddy. And they're trying to stop, and as their feet are kicking up clumps of mud into the props. And they're trying to come down with their AKs, but me and the door gunner and one of my little people, I forget if it was Sal, we hit him so hard. You ever see those cartoons where guys are running and they stop and get jerked back?
Yeah.
That's what happened to the NVA. They're coming out of the jungle, and we hit them, it stopped them, pushed them right back into the jungle. We didn't even see the follow-ups. And yeah.
Now the tactics that these guys were using, Claymore mines with the delaying on them, I'm several generations behind you. Again, this is one of my heroes. This is cool because I get to sit with one of my heroes here. So I show up to 5th Group right after Desert Storm, and there was a warrant officer in my company, Chief Sexton. He had gotten out of the military for a while, and came back in much later in his life, but he was actually a Vietnam vet. He was one of the only Vietnam vets in 5th group that wasn't at command level already.
Right.
He was a warrant officer, but he was a team leader on that A team. And we started doing some training, and same thing. He's talking about using the Claymore mines with the fuses on them. And remember, 5th group's a desert group.
Right.
So we're normally, I would have said, well, we can't do that because 5 seconds, that doesn't buy us enough time. But these Green Berets are smart. Chief Sexton's like, no, we do 2 minutes in the desert. I'm like, you do 2 minutes? And it's because you're breaking contact at such a longer distance.
Yeah.
They would have a 30-second and a 2-minute time fuse, and the different a Claymore mine's got 2 universal cap wells on the top. So as you're breaking contact doing that, the same drills that you were doing, I grew up getting taught by,
No kidding,
by literally the exact same drills that you were doing. I learned them when I first got the group, but they were modified to standoff because you're engaging hundreds and hundreds of meters away. By the time they got to us, if they were a long ways away, you popped the 2-minute time fuse. If they were close, you popped the 30. But either way, I was still taught to carry that Claymore, plant that Claymore, and then haul ass. After that guy goes by, last man, get on my gun, and then I'm turning and going. I was taught the exact same stuff that you guys would. That is so cool, brother.
and we're alive today thanks to Claymores and other things.
Alive today, and I've never had to fire a Claymore in combat, brother. I've done nothing. I've done nothing compared to what you guys did. Not at all. I've been around some great guys that did some cool stuff. A lot of Marines that did some awesome stuff around me. But no, dude, this is awesome. This is awesome. Hey, and I don't want to cut you off.
That's all right. No.
Chad, I bet our peanut gallery has some questions for this fine gentleman right here.
Yes.
Let's go for it.
We're gonna open it up. Let's get a question from the peanut gallery here.
All right. First one. One of our people's, Miss Susan Bridger, her husband, he doesn't have very many heroes. Glenn. He likes John Stryker Meyer more than he likes Carl Erickson. So
No.
Me too.
If
Me
you could
too.
give him a
Glenn,
shout
I'm
out,
right
Glenn.
there with you.
And he's an Australian. They live in Australia.
Down under, eh?
Yes. If you could give him a shout out, that would be awesome.
Glenn, here's looking at you.
Hip hip, Glenn, you wally. I don't do a very
Here's
good.
to you, sir.
I don't do a very good Australian. I really don't.
Right?
I don't. They say I sound more like I'm from Britain. There's no T. There's no T in British. You know why?
Yes.
We dumped all that shit in the harbor.
Your Australian is so bad, it sounds like British. All right, so first one here comes from our boy Hemingway. He said, was just dropping by to say, I miss you guys. Bummed I have to miss out on this one in particular. John, you and all your SOG brothers are true BAMFs. Are you familiar with what a BAMF is?
Badass mother.
Okay, yep, just checking.
Yeah, thank you.
Glad to see you're still making the rounds so nobody ever forgets all the crazy, epic shit you guys did. Take care and God bless.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
We'll pass the word on to our brothers for sure. But like in the world of SOG, if you had a Richter scale 1 to 10, 10 being the very hairiest SOG missions in history, I'd put myself at a 5 compared to Lynn Black, the men that earned the Medal of Honor, guys at Green Berets that died on the LZ, let their team get out first and they died and they get the Medal of Honor. These stories are just amazing.
Without a doubt. Without
Absolutely.
a doubt. All right, next one here is from Leif LeBlanc. He's actually parachuting with me and Chad down in Palatka, Florida. We're going to put on the old World War II garb and we're going to jump in Florida next month. We are.
With the T10?
Actually, I think we've got other shoots, but
I would hope for your sake.
I would hope. I don't want to jump a T10. Just finished Across the Fence. What a fantastic read. Thank you, Mr. Myers, for everything you and your teammates did. Rangers lead the way.
Indeed.
Yeah, for sure. How about a question? I could read these all day long. And you got me any questions?
I've got one here from, let me refresh this real quick. Let's see. Oh.
And thank everybody for the kind comments that are rolling in. I appreciate it. And I always talk to our people about it and let them know that there are many Americans out there that appreciate our stories now that they're getting out. Yeah. Thanks to you, Jocko, and books, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way.
I think a lot of people prefer the old-fashioned way with the books. I think it kind of gives you that. It's tangible. It's in your hands. I know I prefer the books.
My wife and I are the same way.
The other way. I love the sip because I do a lot of driving to do drive to go classes and stuff, and I love to be able to sit back and, for example, we're recording this, and I know a lot of people don't want to look at crusty old John and crusty old Carl. I got that, but there's a lot of people that like to sit back and listen to what you have to say and hear it in your own words. So I really do appreciate you doing these podcasts.
Well, I heard about you. That's why when you asked, I said yes.
Really?
You were preceded by your notoriety.
No shit.
Another SF legend. He's got to remain. I got to protect my sword.
Who'd you hear?
Some white guy.
All you crackers look alike to me, dude. You really do. So you can't remember the name.
That's right. Short-term memory is like fading, man. Anyways, I heard about you beforehand, so that's why we're here tonight.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So they got a question there, Chad?
Jerry J we named our units SOG because guys like you, John.
No.
Jerry J is Czechoslovakian Special Forces, so they kind of.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's.
Oh my God! Well, hats off.
He actually did Operation Valkyrie last year. Remember, I talked about the kayaking trip we're doing this weekend. We're 2 days away from it. Thursday, the clients show up, and hopefully, no one dies.
Hopefully.
It's gonna be a good time, without a doubt. It's gonna be a good time. John, maybe next year I'll bring you out, dude. You can be the part of the Op 4 commander that tortures.
I'll drive the canoes to the water, kayaks to the water.
We're gonna snatch one of them this year. They don't know about it yet, and that's the one that gets interrogated real bad.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So
a little seer action,
Don't spoil it.
I won't.
But we'll let you do the tactical questioning next year.
Indeed, tactical.
You can be the guy that does the tactical questioning.
Who brings the battery?
What's that?
Who brings the battery?
Let's do you one better. I got a 15K generator.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Chris Lloyd. Hey, Carl, great to see you. Got tilt on tactical rifleman. Take it easy, Chris. All right, brother, we don't have any questions. We don't. No, we got lots of people showing the love. They love that you're here.
Chris is a fellow vet. He's working hard.
I have a question for you. Sure. Was there ever a moment where you were literally like down on your face? This is it right now. This is when it's going to happen.
That was I had one of those moments, and it was the one of all the missions where there's that moment, that come to Jesus moment. Mm-hmm. So it takes a little while to get to it, but we had Chad and I were talking earlier about going in the morning. We go to a target and get shot out of the primary, the secondary, and the alternate. Come back, have lunch, go out. Well, we did this for 2 or 3 days in a row. Either on the second,
literally, go in,
get shot out.
And the only reason you get all shot all the hell is because the enemy are so thick in that area.
Right.
No matter what random spot you pick to land, because you randomly select a primary, a alternate, a contingency.
Yes.
There's that many bad guys out there.
And sometimes it would only be one person, but the idea is you want to get you want to get inserted without being compromised. So we did this. I want to say now, with the 53 years of hindsight, the third day we did the morning, and some of my Vietnamese are beat because you know what it's like. You fly in a helicopter, you're a general.
You're amped up.
You go in, and get shot out. Come back, eat lunch, go do it again, and there. Like in the afternoon, here's your target. Covey's going to pick an LZ for you. Just do an area recon. That's we're done with the mission. Mission prep. So we line them up, get on a helicopter, go do it, get shot out, come back, do it again. On the third day in the morning, it happened. So we transferred a couple of our little people because they're just beat.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had Sal, my Vietnamese counterpart.
Yeah.
By now, I'm the team leader. So we get inserted. This time we're on the ground. And we went in with 8 men. And I had Henry King with me. He was strap hanging, and Bubba Shore.
So you had 3 Americans.
3 Americans, 5 indigenous troops.
Okay.
And Henry was carrying the pump M79 experimental
That
with
was the
5
experimental
rounds.
one.
But he wanted to carry it to see what it would be like.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get in, and the jungle was open up more there because the Laotians would do slash and burn agriculture. They would come in, plant crops, burn it until the ground was of no use. They took all the soil nutrition out. Well, we landed on an LZ where they had several of these.
Okay.
I put the team online. We just marched up the mountain, crossed the hedgerow, marched up. We never stopped because normally we would go 10 and 10. Move for 10 minutes quietly, wait 10 minutes to hear the jungle. But on this day, I just wanted something different.
Yeah.
As I pushed it, we went up the hill for over an hour straight. We came to a trail, big enough to drive tanks down.
Nice. Wow.
We crossed the trail, get on the other side, and we have high ground looking down on the trail. The ambush is set up with claymore mines, 2 claymores, a C4 in the middle, designed to knock out the person walking past.
Okay.
Everybody else is in the kill zone is dead. Then perimeter security claymores.
I want that to sink in. You guys are literally, you said it was just C4 in the middle with no shrapnel.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to stun and knock out the guy in the middle.
So we could take him home.
You were trying to snatch somebody.
Oh yeah, POW
shit.
snatch.
POW snatch.
And we'll come back. The footnote is on for some of your viewers who may not have heard how that technique got developed. That'll be the footnote.
Okay.
But we set it up, security claymores, and a claymore in the back.
All right.
And Sal did a wiretap. So we're watching this. People are just diddy bopping down the trail, you know, all's cool. Because we really moved up that mountain. And we heard nothing from the LZ.
Okay.
Because often you hear from trackers.
Yeah.
So it was a great mission. Spider comes back. And I gave him the code. We got a POW. You know, rally the assets. I'll be back at the primary zone, primary LZ in an hour. He goes, don't move. And basically, other things. Don't move, don't shit, don't do anything. I'm at 10,000 feet. I can't see the mountain you're on. Let alone come get you.
Yeah. Okay.
2 minutes later, we hear tanks start up above us. And so, to make a long story short on this one, we had to pull up the ambush and the wiretap. We went back across the trail, and then we turned left and went straight to get away from as far as we could from that area. And about that time, as we were moving, we could hear the dogs. The NVA had tracker dogs out. So they were down still in the primary LZ area, and I wanted to get as much distance between us.
Okay.
We moved until about dark. We came to a little stream bed or a brook. But it had water, maybe a foot, 2 foot, depends on areas. And each bank was about 10 to 12 feet, maybe 15 feet tall, I forget. But I put the team in that, and we went up the stream, and it was dark. I had the guys move out, come back, move out, come back. And then we started sprinkling black pepper and powder mace for the dogs.
To screw up the dogs,
Yeah. So as we're going up, eventually that night, we heard a couple of dogs hit the mace.
Okay.
So and Sal had climbed a tree and said there's buku, over 100 lanterns he counted of people. He could see the lanterns in the background coming up the mountain looking for us. So we go up the stream. We were in the water for maybe a couple hours. We finally come to a bank. We go up the bank, set up an RON. I'm facing the bank. And 2 or 3 hours later, 2 NVA are in the stream. They walk past us with their lantern. They go up. The lantern runs out of fuel. They come back. As they're going past, my interpreter coughs. And the one NVA started climbing up the bank. And he only moved when the wind blew. So eventually he got to the top of the hill. And I'm sitting there with my feet spread. I got my Car 15 on single shot.
Yeah.
And I hear this, he touched my boot. And I could hear him catch his breath. And he didn't move. And then when the wind blew, he moved back down. Took him a while. He got his buddy. They left. First light, we were out of there. So, leading to your moment, during that day, we moved up that mountain. And again, we didn't hear anything in terms of dogs. And we took Sal took us to another stream angle, and then we basically climbed almost straight up this mountain. And here's poor Henry King hauling all these M79 rounds. So he buried some because he just had too many. Mm-hmm. And by near the end of the day, we came up, we took a short break, and everybody wanted to stop. All the Vietnamese, Bubba, Henry, I'm tired. We're beat.
Oh, I bet.
Just carrying the weight.
Yeah.
So Sal goes, no, we got to get to the top, because if we get into the shit, we want to be on top. Mm-hmm. You know, anybody that's on top is, high ground. So I just started to get up, and I literally fell over. And I had a bad knee, which was my left knee, and I landed on my right knee and tweaked it. Tried to get up again, fell again, and literally fell on my face. And my face landed in the jungle floor. And I'm lying there, and here's your moment. I'm lying there, beat. Last night they touched my boot. They came for us with dogs last night. I'm the 1-0, the team leader. I got all these guys' fate in my hand. And I'm sitting there like face down. We got to go. We got to get up and go. And just that moment, that was the come to Jesus moment for me. Is that just being there and figuring somehow you got to get past the pain, get back to being a team leader. We got up, got to the mountain, got on top. And 5 days later, we got extracted under heavy fire. Of course, that night.
5 more days. You guys were dead.
Sorry, 4 more days. We were on the ground that night.
Still 4 more days.
But Spider said, he flew over every day. Yeah. The weather, we can't get you.
Yeah.
Do not move. And so we didn't. But that first night on the mountain, which was day 2 of the mission, Russians came in with aircraft and did aerial resupplies in Laos to their people and the Laotians in Laos.
So they had plenty of chow, lantern fuel, water, ammo, probably fresh dogs. And
maybe.
Probably had fresh dogs. No, tracking dogs wear out. They do. They wear out. Crazy. You had a bad guy grab your boot.
He just touched it. He just crawled up. He touched the boot and then
realized what it was. I mean, a jungle boot feels like a jungle boot in the dark. He knows exactly what that is.
Oh yeah. So that one moment in time, sir.
Dude, that's just crazy.
That's why it's funny because we'll get guys that come up and thank you for your service, this, that, and the other, and it's hard to explain to them. You guys back in them days, those guys we looked up to because, like, even Carl, Carl will tell you, we're never more than an hour or so away from, civilization, so to speak. We go out and do our work. Yeah. We come back. We're sleeping on a cot. Sometimes it's in a tent, but still, we're back at our main.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of IEDs too, man.
Yeah, but I mean, no matter how bad things got, I knew I just had to be able to hold on till the sun went down, and they would put a Spectre gunship over my head. I'm the bravest guy on the planet if I got a Spectre over my head.
Oh yeah, me too. We went through 4 one night.
Yeah, but your Spectres were the Caribous with 7.62 miniguns, and the pilot is steering it. That's and they have to be able to see the ground. The ones we have now, they're pressurized. They can fly that high that the plane stays pressurized. It's got a 105 howitzer in the tail. It's got a 40 millimeter Bofors cannon, danger close 23 feet. I'm not allowed to say that on the open internet because it's classified.
No. Yeah.
Oops.
And then they replaced the 20 millimeter Gatling guns with 25 millimeters because going to higher altitude, it's got a lower dud rate. And they're insanely accurate. I flew on one and they zeroed the guns over the Gulf of Oman, and they dropped this flare out into the water, and they're zeroing the guns, and they're blowing the water up, and this flare is just bouncing around like a rag doll. They hit the flare with a 105 howitzer shell. Now, remind you, that's not the accurate gun. The accurate gun's the 40 millimeter. I'm the bravest son of a gun if I got spooky over my head.
Well, the Spectres that we use have 4 miniguns and 2 20 Mike cannons.
Oh, man.
And they brought it within 25 feet.
Danger close.
Oh, really dangerous.
Oh, very danger close.
Yeah.
See, they wouldn't even, there's no way they would let us
Well, you
do
know what
that.
the Air Force guy goes, he says, I said I want it at 25 feet, He goes, no, I can't do it. He says, you got to tell me that you accept the responsibility for any casualty.
Yeah.
Hey, they're right here. Anyway, so I had to say, I accept full responsibility. Now get these motherfuckers.
Yes.
And that night, we were up there all night, and you could hear them dragging the bodies away. They come back, and then around 4 o'clock or so, the weather kicked in, and we were getting low on hand grenades. We started throwing rocks at them. Yeah, because they didn't know.
They don't know.
We're playing. Is Johnny throwing a hand grenade or a rock game?
Yeah.
And
we hear stuff like that, the old stories.
Yeah.
And that's actually, I forgot what movie it was. That actually popped up in a movie. But Hollywood takes a great story and ruins it by making it too Hollywood.
Right.
They ruin every good story. They ruin every good story. But every once in a while, there'll be some little vignette that makes it into the movie that nobody knows where it comes from. Right. And literally that's you up there. We only got 2 live frags left. Let's throw rocks.
Yeah. And Sal and Chow, they went out. They would leave our little perimeter, and they went out and got the rock and brought them back. And they're going through the dead bodies and stuff to get these things. And so there was a few hours there because I think it's either 3 or 4 Spectres now. Again, This is February 1970 when we did that, and we lost track. But man, they killed a lot of people.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm very brave in them. Yeah, absolutely. And then that last couple hours, that's what we did. And we finally did a white phosphorus just for good luck.
Shake and bake.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, this is so cool, guys. You don't understand. I've got one of my legends.
They're loving
right here. This is awesome.
They're loving it out there.
Any more questions or no?
Let's see.
We'll find some. Real quick though.
See, quality of content. They don't ask questions, because they're hanging on every word as it is.
John's book. I've been through it twice already. Across the Fence. John Stryker Meyer's The Secret War in Vietnam. The expanded edition is the one. That's what this one is. That we put the link in our Amazon store. Guys, you don't have to order it through my Amazon store. If you do, I get credit for it. I think I make like 0.3 of a penny.
All at once?
All at once. But the reason why I put the links for all the books that I like the Foxfire series of survival books and stuff, is because I want you guys to get the correct book. All right, so that's why that's there. Your other book that you wrote with John Peters is On the Ground, The Secret War in Vietnam. Which book do you prefer?
Well, the first book talks about us getting involved in the Secret War.
Okay.
That's my favorite. And there's a couple stories in here that I couldn't get when I was putting together the first book. Okay. We had a deadline, want to get the book printed for our reunion, have it in time for the reunion, All
right, so the second book, because trust me, guys, you get done with this one, you're going to want more. You're going to come back and watch this video again. You're going to be like, yeah. Oh, I remember when he said that. Second book is On the Ground, The Secret War in Vietnam. They were wounded or killed in places where they never went. Like I said, these are the stories that I grew up on. I actually, one of my first jobs in 5th Group, got the 5th Special Forces Group. That was the SF group that ran Vietnam for the most part. Got the 5th Group. One of my first taskings, it wasn't really a mission, was they had recovered some remains of a guy in Cambodia. Black Rifle Coffee. Stat. Got to fill the vein.
Carl, would you like one?
Thank you, Chad.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I'll take one. I got my thermos of coffee, but I'll never turn down Black Rifle Coffee. No. Never. They recovered remains of a MACV-SOG team from Cambodia. I don't think it was your team. and to the life of me, I wish I could remember the guy's name. It was on the tip of my tongue a couple days ago. He was from upstate New York, and we went and did the funeral detail for him. And
was it in North Carolina?
no, this was upstate New York. This was you got to remember. I'm old.
Oh, thank you.
Not as old as you. I'm not quite dirt old. I'm just old though. This was, I want to say 94, 95 time frame. Maybe a little later than that. No, when would that would have been 97, 98? Anyways, long story short, I went up there to do the funeral, talked to this reporter up there and his family. Oh, he was such a nice boy. He was such a nice boy. Great. At the actual funeral, 500 bikers show up. I'm not joking. 500 bikers show up for the funeral. We go to the funeral afterwards, and he was listed as MIA, but his team had come back from Vietnam and told the family, "Look, he's listed as MIA, but we left him on the radio, and they basically." He kept the radio keyed so the B-52s could bomb on it like a beacon.
Right.
So they knew he was dead. But everybody was saying he was such a nice guy, such a nice guy. Well, that was my first time at that funeral actually meeting some of you. They were the MACV-SOG guys from his team.
Wow.
And they were like, oh, nice guy. Oh, hell no. This boy was an asshole. And apparently he had made it home and got in trouble. He had beat a couple guys almost to death and went before the judge. He was wrong. And the judge asked him, why did you... I guess both of them were literally like on the verge of possibly dying. He beat them that bad. And he just looked at the judge and said, in my world, they deserve to die. And the judge gave him a choice. You can go back to Vietnam. Well, he went back to Vietnam, went back to MACV-SOG. And long story short, he ended up dying. But here I am, Green Beret. I had my CIB from Desert Storm when I was in the 101st. I didn't do nothing but eat MREs for 7 months. I didn't do nothing in Desert Storm. I had a sniper rifle. Everything that drove by was in a tank. There was nothing I could do. So I had a CIB, I had my Green Beret. I had basically done nothing in my career, and I have a bunch of MACV-SOG guys there, and they just told me such great stories about how much of an asshole this guy was. And
welcome to the club, huh?
Yeah, it's I just think it's awesome, brother, that you would take the time to come visit me in my humble household here. We're actually in my basement, guys.
Awesome.
Dude, so I can't say enough, brother. Thank you for your service, without a doubt.
Likewise.
He ain't leaving, is he?
Huh?
No,
of course
that sounded
not.
like
He's
an
not allowed
exit.
to ever leave. We're gonna lock the door, dude.
I do have some questions.
You got
that
3
came
hots
in.
and a cot here.
Apparently, they have been asking questions. I just haven't been able to see them because the chat's blowing by.
Okay.
But I've got my mods on that.
Okay.
And people in the donor box, if you guys are donor boxing and it doesn't have anything to do with John and asking questions, I thank you for your donations, but I'm going to skip over them just for the conservation of time. But thank you. I will address them. There's a couple in there we'll get to. But one of the questions was, John, did you carry mags in your canteen pouches? And what would you do with your water if you were carrying mags in your canteen pouches?
Well, when we were in Laos, we only needed minimal water.
Okay.
So majority of times before a mission, we would get a land assessment. So usually just carry 1 canteen of water. And then maybe an extra one in the backpack.
And then
then use the purification pills.
the reason for carrying your mags in the extra canteen pouches is because you could fit a lot of mags in a canteen pouch.
And the preferred harness that we had then, Chad, was the old BAR belts.
Yeah.
Because they had the padded shoulders.
Yeah.
And then the pouches, you could get 420 mags with one on top.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the mags face down with the tape so you get them out quick for a firefight.
It's funny. Sorry,
that's right.
don't mean to
No.
cut you. It's funny because Rick Lamb, when we did the World War II stuff, seeing the progression of that carrying over when he was talking
That's why they're
through the
asking.
uniforms. Yeah. because we did a video series where Rick talked about all the uniform changes through the military, through World War II, World War I, back to, what was it, 1916 or 1919 or something like that.
He literally laid
Yeah.
out the uniforms,
Really?
the gear,
Yeah.
guns, everything.
Who's this?
Rick Lamb, another Special Forces legend. He's actually in like the Ranger Hall of Fame. The movie Black Hawk Down.
Of course.
He got shot in the forehead. A little RPG shrapnel came through the windshield. And anyways, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna get you two together,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go sit over
Yeah.
near Chad, and
Oh my
you
God.
can run the live stream
Yeah.
because you two are basically cut from the same cloth,
Yeah.
just a couple generations apart. Rick Lamb was my command sergeant major when I was a sniper cell leader, and then when I was a master sergeant of my SF-A team, he actually became my battalion command sergeant major. That's where I knew him. I didn't know that he was like the last American to ever kill North Koreans up on the DMZ in Korea, like 1990, I think 1990 or 90, something like that. Yeah, he killed a bunch of North Koreans.
Really?
They came across the border. That, and then Black Hawk Down, and then him as a Green Beret. The boy's a legend. And
Yeah.
you two would hit it off.
Oh, yeah.
You'd hit it off great.
Black
for
Hawk
sure.
Down. Oh my God.
You two would get along great.
All right, but back to you. What other questions?
I've got
you
another one. There
All right.
must be some grunts, and they think about the important questions. They want to know, how did you guys combat trench foot? I think that's a great question.
Which honestly, where a lot of people are laughing, that's one of the major problems in a reconnaissance team is you got to keep the body being able to move. So how did you combat trench foot?
We stopped wearing socks and underwear.
No shit. It's that simple.
Yeah. Because, and again, layoffs, the jungle floor would be damp. It's not like the American troops that were in South Vietnam going through rice paddies and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, sometimes we would encounter water, get the jungle boots damp, but you had the little holes so the water would
Yeah,
drain out,
drain
and
out.
eventually your body heat
Yep.
would warm up. Lynn Black was the guy that told me about that. I went over, I had a lot of jockey shorts, and the maids were stealing them. I was down on my last pair of jockey shorts, and I was complaining to Lynn, and Lynn goes, "Stop wearing them, because the jockey shorts will give you crotch rot,
Yeah.
and the socks will mess up your feet."
Yep.
So we stopped wearing them. It took a few weeks to get the feet toughened,
Yeah.
but that's all. And I never wore socks again until now because of the winter weather out here.
Yeah. I say I got pussy feet. I gotta wear.
I'm with you.
I gotta wear. I caught frostbite on 4 toes in Ranger School.
Oh.
And medical recycle was supposed to be dropped. Long story short,
You forgot to get dropped.
Yeah, that's another story, another day. Long story short, if the temperature drops below 50 degrees, I lose circulation in my toes. So I invest a lot of money in warm socks.
Oh, yeah.
But did you pull the steel shank out of your boots, or did you keep them?
Oh, no, they had to stay. Because you never knew. The reason why they were there was for punching
Punching
pits.
sticks. So
Yeah.
you kept them.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. See, me too. I never took them out of my boots.
Who would take
but
them out?
there were cool guys that would say, "Oh no, you always take the steel shank out. It weighs too much." I've actually, have you guys seen the steel shank in a pair of jungle boots? It's as thin as a sheet of paper. It doesn't weigh nothing. So I'm curious. You didn't take them out either.
No.
See, I wasn't that messed up. I wasn't. I kept that thing in there. Now I wore green and black jungle boots in Desert Storm. We didn't have the pretty desert boots, and they were fine. They're good boots. Good
Oh, yeah.
boots. I got a pair up in the attic that have never been worn. Saving them for a rainy day.
I got
never
a
know.
gentleman over here, Kevin Borquez. Earlier you were talking about POWs and MIA soldiers. He said Master Sergeant Glenn O'Lane and Sergeant First Class Robert D. Owen, RT, Idaho, CCN, MIA, 23 May 1968 in Laos. I've been wearing their POW MIA bracelets since I was a teen in 1985.
Whoa.
Wow, no, dude, that's awesome.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Spider Parks, Don Wolkin, myself, and any of the Idaho guys that ran missions with Glenn, to this day, it's heavy on our heart because there's still the 2 men from our team that are missing in action along with the indig from the team. They never recovered them.
Wow.
And thank you for honoring them
This
that
is
way.
a small world. This is back in 1985. He's been wearing these bracelets. Kevin, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you letting us know.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely. Thank you.
Got one here from Chet Common Sense. Oh, no, this one. Chet, I'm not going to address that one. It has nothing to do with John. John, after reading the book and viewing other materials related to MACV-SOG, it seems to me that you guys were just put into situations to make contact with large numbers of MVA, as your small teams were very effective at stacking bodies. How far off am I?
What was the mission of sending in a small team to do reconnaissance like that?
Well, we had the idea was because our government had, the reason why there was a secret war, our government had signed some kind of accord in early 60s that the communists signed from Laos, Cambodia, North Vietnam, our primary enemy, North Vietnamese communists. And they all agreed that no one would send combat troops to Laos or Cambodia. And those are the countries west of South Vietnam.
Yeah.
The Ho Chi Minh Trail would come down and there'd be branches into South Vietnam through which the supplies, manpower, they could launch attacks and then go back to Laos or Cambodia and lick their wounds and then come back and fight another day without any traditional American troops following. Our job, and the reason why there was a secret war, we had to go in and see what they're doing. So you had area recon, point reconnaissance, like going in, blowing up NVA fuel lines, POW snatch, a wiretap, bomb damage assessment, going in for down pilots. And then, of course, some of our missions were designed to go to try to get to an American POW camp that the NVA had in Laos or just across the border in North Vietnam. There were only a few of those missions. I never had one. But we had intel reports.
Yeah.
So, like, we ran a Target Echo 4, which was an area recon, but we also had intel report that there was a POW camp. And that's what we were thinking about, was to try to get to that, get as close to as we could, because...
But you didn't ever find anything there.
We didn't. We had recon teams that literally ran into air ducts that came up, you could smell food cooking, and they got run out. On another occasion, we had a team that was all North Vietnamese that had converted, come over to fight on our side. The team leader was Sergeant Pat Eddington, who appeared to be Asian.
Okay.
Tall. And he was the 1-0. His whole team dressed up. They knew what the codes were. They could speak in North Vietnamese dialect. They would walk right down the trail.
Oh, yeah.
Pat gets a mission. Go to these POW camp where there's American POWs. The intel network, somebody figured it out. He's en route to the camp. He's on the ground, successful insert, moving to the camp, up on his FM radio, speaking perfect English. And NVA says, Sergeant Eddington, by name, we know who you are, we know where you are, we know what your mission is. Your mission is to come to this base. I'm giving you a choice. You can return and go back to your base or continue with your mission. If you do, I will kill every American here. Your choice. So Pat turned around and left. But they came up on our frequencies.
Yeah, and that's the part. The more you learn about the stuff that these guys were doing, and you start hearing about that stuff that the bad guys, lack of a better term, had great intel, and they had infiltrated different levels of command
all the way
back
to
on our
all the way
side.
to the top. And then don't forget, in November of '67, when the Pueblo was captured, The North Koreans did that because Russia told them to do it. And the second they got into port, the Russians came in and took all the encryption gear off the ship.
Yeah.
At the same time, they had Johnny Walker, who was working in the Navy as a Russian spy, who got all the codes. So for several years, the North Vietnamese knew everything the Air Force, Army, and Navy were all talking about with the top secret codes, because they had it,
Yeah.
including some of our missions. That's why one mission, when we're descending into the target, Sal, or fuck, I forget, one of the two guys on my team, yelled to the helicopter door gunner, because this is South Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And they told him to divert the King Bee, which is the South Vietnamese code name, to divert off the LZ. And the reason why, somehow he saw a wire across the LZ. They had had time to put a 500-pound bomb near, Chad. Had we hit that wire, we would have been devastated and be fertilizer today.
Oh, yeah.
But Sal saw the wire, but that gives you an indication of how we were compromised.
Guys, we talked about this the other day, that there's nothing easier to shoot down than a helicopter. A 500-pound bomb would have shredded a helicopter. Even a paper airplane, you can shoot holes through a paper airplane. It's going to keep gliding. But a helicopter just drops like a freaking stone.
Funny how we were talking that today while we were at Fort Campbell. We were talking about how once you hit the spinny thingies, it's game over.
You always wanted to be a Taliban for one day or 1 hour just to shoot at a helicopter or something.
Internet's forever, John.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Only kidding. Only
No,
kidding.
you're good people, man. You're good people.
You good?
Yes.
We've got a great crowd here. You're allowed to say anything you want.
You can say
here.
whatever.
I will apologize
you
for it.
want. No, we
afterward.
won't apologize for nothing.
No, it
No.
happened once. I
That's only an
apologize
inquiry.
for it.
So you apologized once, and it was probably to your wife. It wasn't anybody here.
Yeah. That's true.
No witnesses.
Yeah. This gentleman here, Randy Clayton, said, since the number of men running recon out of MACV-SOG comprise such a small elite group, I've also often wondered if you've ever crossed paths with Franklin D. Miller in country, even though you both served in Corps.
No, I never had the privilege of meeting Franklin, and but he did earn the Medal of Honor, and he's one of our Medal of Honor recipients from the Secret War. He ran out of Canteen FOB2 and was one hell of a good recon man down there. There's a book called Uncommon Valor where it's written off of a lot of after-action reports and Medal of Honor statements, which includes Fred Sabatowski and Franklin, amongst others, in the book. And it's just a very well done book. And
Awesome.
focus on
Uncommon Valor.
Uncommon Valor.
All right.
You go ahead. Go ahead. We'll come back after
All
you.
right, gents. I have not read this one yet.
Well, you'll like it because the first chapter, a team is in our worst target, Oscar 8, up in I-Corps.
Okay.
They're on the ground. All night, they're on a trail watch. And there's hundreds of troops going by, tanks, bulldozers, trucks with people, ordnance, which we document. After they've been on this trail watch for several hours, an NVA comes up to one of the indigs, goes, "It's your turn for guard duty." Yeah. So this is one Montagnard to another Montagnard. When the other NVA left, the Montagnard went over and told Pat Watkins, who was the Team 1-0, he said, they just asked me to guard duty. Can we DD Mal? Like, can we get the fuck out of here now, please?
You realize how close you have to be. But I mean, that's the advantage of having the indigenous
That's better than
guys
my
with
boot
you.
story. I mean, the guy goes, "It's your turn for guard duty" by an NVA.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
You mentioned the book. Everybody's like, "What's the book? What's the book?" You didn't mention the book.
He did. It was a long time
On the
ago.
ground, the secret war in Vietnam. John Stryker Meyer's John E. Peters. This is your second book.
Correct. Second book. And
Second
John
book.
Peters and I were together at the FOB1, another recon dog.
All right.
And he's now lives in Tennessee also.
Is it really?
Yeah, in Dresden, north of Memphis. But John ran recon. He's a better writer than I am. So he came in there, he polished some of the stories. He's got some unusual stories in there.
Nice.
They're not all combat.
You know, those aren't the best stories. Everybody wants combat stories, but for guys that were actually in the military, a lot of times we like the other little the other little stories.
Well, Chad, you know how the medics are, right? Mm-hmm. In camp, you kind of stay away from them, but in the field, everybody wants a medic, and this is why. And one of the stories in there, we have a medic that came into our hooch, and he forgot that the Swedish K fires from the open bolt. So he comes into our hooch, picks up the Swedish K, fired off several rounds that went through the officers' quarters. Fortunately, nobody got hurt. A month or so later, maybe not even that long, he came back into our hooch. Spider Parks had a Car 15 with a new scope on it. And this is like state-of-the-art stuff. So we're I don't know if anybody's going to use a Car 15 with a scope, but we had it. It was really cool. Yeah. We had so many things to experiment with. The medic, whose first name was John, but we won't get into the last names here, picked up the Car 15, looked through the scope, fired off a burst of automatic. This one went through the other window, went through several of the hooches, and wounded one in Dig. The sergeant major comes in and goes, "You shot him, you fix him."
Yes. You'll be happy to know that in regular Army units, they've actually moved, when they went to the consolidated, what do they call that? When they changed everything from being separate, can't remember what it was called.
Consolidated?
They consolidated all the support. No, they called it something. It was in the combat units. Instead of being separated by, you had your
combat
support
teams,
Yeah, they changed it to combat teams. We actually had in garrison, our medics and all our support people were actually assigned to our company. So we worked with them in the rear so that we didn't just end up working with them only overseas. So you'd be happy to know that they kind of melded everybody.
Try to make them better.
Yeah.
Nah, they don't get any better.
No. We had some good medics, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got medic stories up the yin yang, but particularly the SF medics. I mean, they're the best in the world.
Yeah.
The training they get, and my God.
I got to deliver 5 babies. Ain't that sexy?
It is.
I was an 18 Delta. That's how I started my career.
Through his powers of manipulation, he delivered 5 babies.
How many got pregnant because of the medic? Got 10 pregnant, but only delivered 5?
Oh, the internet forever. Those stories are for Patreon only.
Funny stuff. All right.
Well, no, we got another medic story. Got a quick medic.
Okay.
Have you been to Walmart lately?
Is that a trick
Do you know
question?
the owner of Walmart, the founder? Sam Walton.
Sam Walton, yeah.
His son, John Thomas Walton, was a Green Beret medic.
You know, I had heard that before. I did.
Chapter 4 of Across the Fence.
Chapter 4 of this one right here.
John was on a recon team, a Spike Team Louisiana. 3 Americans, 3 in Dig. They get into a target in the Ashaw Valley. The team gets overrun, and they break contact. John was sitting on a log, and there was one of his team members, indigenous team members, sitting next to him. And John looked over his shoulder and saw an NVA stand up with a Cheshire grin on his face. And he had his AK-47 and went full automatic across John and his team member. 4 rounds hit the Dig. No, John didn't get any impact wounds. So John comes up, kills the guy, blows him back into the jungle, begins patching him up. They get overrun again. The 3rd time they get overrun, the team leader called in an airstrike on the team. A1 Sky Raider.
Like not within 20 feet,
No,
put it on my position.
team.
That's right out of the movies. Everybody's like, well, that's Hollywood. That would never actually happen.
Right.
You would never do that in combat.
So
they did it in
They
combat.
did it.
Yeah.
And so before they got overrun, John had been sitting near the team leader, Pete Boggs. And Pete goes, I want you to go back and keep an eye on that indigenous troop that got shot 4 times, because John had patched up all the wounds. He was stable. And he was taking care of that perimeter.
Yeah.
Even with 4 bullet holes in him.
Still pulling security.
Yeah. So John goes back to him. Another team member sits where he is, And so there's a team member, the team leader, Pete Boggs,
Yeah.
the Indige, and then Tom Cunningham, who came into camp earlier that week.
Brand new
assigned,
guy.
brand new, gone through training group, volunteered for the team, gets on the ground. They call in the airstrike. The A1 Skyraider made a 20 Mike run across the team, which broke the NVA attack. That's the good news. The bad news, the Indige between Pete and Tom Cunningham was killed by 20 Mike rounds. 2 rounds hit Cunningham. One destroyed his radio, the PRC-25 on his back.
Damn.
The shrapnel wounded the team leader. And the other round took off Tom's leg. And the round hit him and literally threw him in the air. And Tom Cunningham had this out-of-body experience where he's in the back watching his body fly through the air with the greatest of ease. And then when the body landed, Tom said to himself, "Am I alive?" He couldn't figure out his finally said, "Oh, hey, Tom!" He yelled his name out to himself. He returned to his body. By that time, John Walton got to him, tied off the leg, passed up the other shrapnel on him. They finally came in for a King Bee came in.
Mm-hmm.
So John took Tom Cunningham over, put him on, got the wounded Indige on, put Pete Boggs, the team leader, on. Helicopter takes off. It's Captain Tin from the South Vietnamese Air Force. He takes off. Second helicopter comes in, gets shot out. The third helicopter comes in and gets shot out. Captain Tin hears this. He comes back, lands to pick up John.
Still got everybody else still on his bird.
And it's August 3rd, 1968. So we got heat issues. You got the elevation. Anyways, John gets to the helicopter with the one team member, the indigenous troop who was not wounded. They jump on the helicopter, and now this is the H-34 has the 2 struts on each side.
Yeah.
Tin starts running downhill and takes off under fire. But they don't have enough lift to get out, just enough to get over the trees. He barely gets over the trees, goes down into a valley, and takes laps around the valley before returning back to base, all while under enemy fire. To get back to the base, John kept Tom alive. Tom went on to live a productive life as an attorney, had 2 children, and he was happily married for many years. Had a wonderful lady. And but when they got back to the medical hospital, it was an American hospital. We go in and get Tom Cunningham in, patch him, they take him in, Pete Boggs goes in. John puts the team member, the indigenous troop, on the with 4 bullet holes in him. And the Americans go, "We can't take him." John pulled his car 15. I said, "You're going to take him or you're going to die right now."
Yeah.
They took him and they treated him.
That sounds like some shit, Carl.
But here,
here's
how good our Green Beret medics are. The doctor was so shaken by our guys coming in. I mean, they're bloody, they're sweaty, they're smelly, they've been in the jungle, and the doctor couldn't put in the IV. Walton had to do it, and he kept them alive. So that's our Green Beret medics.
He mentioned
one example.
Out-of-body experience, literally actually watching his own body. And people actually give me shit here on, because I'll tell people all the time, I go to church on Sundays, try to live a good Christian life, and everybody's like, what? No, Carl, you're a gunfighter, you're a warrior. Yeah, you can be Billy Badass, you can be all you want, all these superheroes that play their movie parts in Hollywood, but when you've been in the foxhole and you see stuff, you do.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a big believer in divine intervention.
Oh, wait.
Without a doubt.
Give me 5.
Yeah, without a doubt, brother.
Oh,
I have... I've seen it too many times.
My grandmom Stryker and our family were praying. That's the only reason why I survived all that. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I had other shit to do.
Divine intervention. Talk about what goes through your mind when you end up on an LZ by yourself because you ended up on the ground and you weren't supposed to. Speaking of divine intervention.
Rewind first. What? You did what?
Well, it's
I may have done some research or just listened to a lot of Jago podcasts.
yeah.
Start at the beginning.
Okay, the beginning
The
was
peanut gallery has no idea what Chad's talking about.
okay. What happened was we were like as we talked earlier in our podcast today. We had those days in the morning you go out and get shot out 3 times. You shot out. Well, somebody said, "Hey, let's find a hunk of jungle with no trails, no paths. Drop a 2,000-pound daisy cutter on it,
Yeah.
My kind of stuff right there.
and rappel. I'll take one more coffee there, sir." And
Meow.
and so I said, we'll rappel in.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all for it. Let's go, man. We
do
want to get on the ground. We'll do anything to get on the ground. We're tired of getting shot out. So
Makes sense.
The next day, that's right. First light, we're up. I forget what the aircraft was, but they dropped a 2,000-pounder. I'm on the King Bee. The King Bee's going in. Thank you, sir.
You want more?
I'll take
One for the road. One for the road. Before you get to your serious stuff in the big bottle.
Oh, dude, that's 8 shots of espresso right there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
my
doing
God.
an all-nighter with John Stryker Meyer.
We're on a roll.
Nobody's going to be upset about that. You know that.
Well, so I'm standing, with the King Bee. Some had 2 steps. So you go out of the helicopter, get on the first step, the second step. We're wired to rappel in.
Yeah.
So we're descending. All of a sudden, boom, there's secondary explosions. In the middle of the jungle, they dropped a 2,000-pound daisy cutter,
Yeah.
and we're getting secondary explosions. The King Bee pilot goes, WTF, we're out of here.
Yeah.
So I jump back in the helicopter. We go back to base. And Cubby told us there was over 3 or 4 dozen secondary explosions. So in the middle of the jungle,
Random selection.
yeah, to this day, Ho Chi Minh's going, how the fuck did the SOG guys find out about our cache in the middle of the jungle? We had it really well camouflaged. Well, it's just sheer dumb luck. Okay, so that's the preference.
Yeah.
Next day, let's try it again.
Let's
Same
try it again.
thing.
Why not? Let's do it
Bam, it
again.
goes in with a 2,000-pounder. I'm the first guy down the rope. Halfway down the rope, I hear Joe Biff, the rag man, going, well, I'm instantly compromised as I'm rappelling into the LZ. And we couldn't land the helicopter because the daisy cutter didn't knock down all the trees. So I'm on the ground. I gave them the sign that we're compromised, get on the radio, tell Covey. I see an MVA coming down, but apparently he had no weapon. So we're compromised. I fired a couple of rounds at him because it looked like they were going to fire. I forget all the circumstances. The helicopter takes off with the rope.
Yeah.
He's gone. And I'm going, okay, so this Chad's point, I'm now on the ground by myself. Hiding behind some tree logs, and I can hear they're talking back and forth to each other. So
Who else is on the ground with you?
just me.
Just you.
Yeah, I'm just down
One
there hanging
American
out.
in the
There's all the
middle of
smoke
a
from the bomb.
2,000-pound daisy cutter crater all by yourself.
Yeah, and it was in the middle of the jungle. So they blew up some of the trees.
In the middle of a jungle, in a country you're not allowed to be in.
Right. Well, we're not there.
Yeah.
Remember, because we had no.
Yeah, you're not really there.
Yeah, we're not.
Oh
there.
yeah, you're not,
we had.
you have nothing on you that
We had
marks you as an
feasible
American.
deniability. Yes,
But
sir.
you are a cracker ass looking son of a gun. Ain't no denying. You're either Russian or you're American, depending on who finds the body.
Indeed. Who gets here first?
There we go.
So we're there. We're back and forth. Finally, the King Bee comes back.
Yeah.
Throw the rope down. Hook up, and they fired a couple more rounds with the helicopter. They're shooting at the helicopter now. And I hooked in because we had a Swiss seat, which is a rope Swiss seat.
Yep, yep.
And it's supposed to, and we had a D ring up on our harness. Well,
Keeps you from laying sideways.
right. So I hooked up the first one, and the King Bee pilot started to lift off right away. He went up first, and then now I can see people. So I'm shooting at them. They're shooting at me in the helicopter. And then with the rounds being fired, Captain Tuong, who was the captain on the helicopter. He then flies away, forgetting that I'm in the jungle. So tilt becomes the pinball, ricocheting off the trees. And this is one of those embarrassing moments. This really gets really embarrassing. So we finally get out of there, but during the time that I was ricocheting off the trees, the rope had cut my arms, and really bad, like in the crook where you.
Yeah.
So one was bleeding, the other one was tore up pretty bad from ricocheting. I tried hooking to my D-ring. I can't. Because we're going full mass heading back to South Vietnam.
Yeah.
So I was rotating the arms back and forth, just in pain. I'm not big on pain. At one point, when I'm rotating, we hit an air pocket, and it flipped me upside down. So my Swiss seat went right down to my knees. I spread the legs. We're up there at 5,000 feet.
And
I'm
you're
upside down.
5,000 feet.
It gets worser.
Hanging upside down.
Yeah, because my backpack, my rucksack, and all my gear came on my throat.
Goes up, yeah.
Right on my throat. I'm upside down. And so Henry King is up there, because he was with me on the other mission. Henry, get my dumb ass down. And I'm flipping him the bird to get me down. And ultimately, I'm close to being unconscious. The rope goes down to my feet. So my feet are spread like the cheapest New York City whore you can find.
Trying not to have the Swiss seat slide off your boots. Because once they do, you're gone.
Finito bonito. Yeah. It's a free fall without a parachute of any kind. And I was starting to pass out. And you've heard about those, you get that life flashes before your eyes. Well, my life flashed before my eyes. I went back to some things from kindergarten, a few other things. And then I saw the local newspaper, and I was really pissed because the local newspaper had my death below the fold on the front page. Because in the early part of the war, anybody killed from Trenton, New Jersey is always an A1 story.
Yeah.
Harry Stout's son was killed. Cliff Stout's son was killed. And these are people I knew.
Yeah.
Guys I went to high school with, killed in action. I'm pissed. Not only am I below the fold, but they said I died in Vietnam. That's a fucking lie. I died in Laos. And I don't want my mother to know that I died falling out of a fucking chute.
Yeah.
My rig. So anyway, right when I passed out, and then I just got done with this life flashing before I passed out, and I thought I felt elephant grass. And it was. Captain Tuong had been descending. I passed out, and I woke up. King comes out, takes off my web gear, leaves my Car 15, leaves my SOG knife, my M79, all in Laos where they are today on some little mountaintop.
They're at some
he picked me up
somewhere.
Yeah, he picked me up somewhere, and the happiest pain I ever had in my life. He threw me in the helicopter, my head ricocheted off that metal floor, and it hurt. But it's like, I'm still alive.
That is pain I've ever had.
Yeah, that's a great saying. I love that.
That was it right there. So, Chad, that's the answer. Long answer to a short question.
I'm honored to be able to hear that story again. and there's more stories like that in these books, guys. You got to check them out. Somebody in the chat, well, more than a lot, are saying we should give away an autographed book. But this is what I'm going to do. I don't want John coming out of pocket on this. I am going to buy 2 books. I will get with John if he will honor a signature on the books, personalized to the winner. I will buy 2 books, and I will give them away on our next show.
We'll do it. Absolutely. Okay?
And then I'll send them to the winner. And
we'll connect on Thursday when I'm down at Fort Campbell.
Yes.
Heading over to talk to some troops.
Yeah.
They wear those funny hats that keep neither the sun nor the rain out of your eyes.
That is so awesome.
Indeed.
All right, I do have some more stuff here.
He's got questions for
Let's do it.
Let's see. One of them was...
Remember my theory, Chad. With your skill and Carl's talent, we can go places.
We can.
Yes.
We can.
We can. Chris Lloyd said, hey, Carl, great to see you got tilt on TR. Take it easy, Chris.
Here's to Chris. Keep up the good work with you there out in New Mexico.
There you go. Joey Mayers.
John, do you think we would be able to wear all the body armor we have now in the jungles of Vietnam?
No.
No, of course not.
No, and the reason why would be just the weight. And in the jungle, unlike today's wars, that our people are out in the open so much with the desert, the mountains, without trees in Afghanistan. It's a different scenario.
But honest, a lot of it is the commanders don't want to. They won't let them not wear it. They literally, even when it's a situation where you're not allowed to, you wouldn't wear it.
Right.
The commanders are making them wear it. And an example of that is if, like, we go do recon missions. When I climbed the mountain in Afghanistan, I put my sniper team up on the ridge. If I had told the commander that we weren't wearing body armor, I went in literally with my mountain rucksack,
right,
my vest, and my SR-25. I had 4 guys on my team. 3 of us our gear weighed 122 pounds.
Whoa.
1 guy weighed 120. Now that's with the gun and all the batteries and water and everything. None of us wore body armor because our job, reconnaissance, our job was not to make contact.
Exactly.
So, but if I had asked permission, no, they would have said, you have to wear it. You have to wear a helmet. You have to wear it. You have to.
And your gloves.
Because it's a uniform.
Gloves.
Because it's a uniform.
We had a scout in our battalion lose his job as a scout in recon. He lost his job because combat camera got a picture of him
not wearing gloves
on a mission, and the sergeant major fired him.
What?
Yeah.
No, and that's the sad part. But that's the advantage you guys had, and that a lot of special ops units have today is the latitude to, so long as you're not blatantly violating the principles of patrolling,
right,
you should have the latitude to think outside the box. Seize the
who's in
initiative.
charge of the team on the ground?
Exactly.
My God.
So, but yeah, no, and here it is. This is literally, that was me going up the mountain in 2001. Right before I got out, there were, there's just constantly cases, and you go all back through history. I'm pretty sure since we've been having organized militaries, there's been people violating uniform regulations, and there have been sergeant majors there bitching about the length of the grass and cigarette butts on the ground. I'm sure. I hate sergeant majors. You guys know how much I hate sergeant majors.
Yeah. We were at Fort Campbell today.
Yeah.
And we were driving down by the airfield, and we drive by this one little, I'm gonna guess it's like a motor pool, and all the soldiers out front had filled the parking lot, but they were also parked on the grass. And as we drove by, I said, "Oh, look at all them people parked on grass. There is a sergeant major losing his effing mind right now." And Carl goes, "Yeah, but it isn't this one."
Oh, good stuff.
Oh, you got a tiger question.
Yes. Any stories about tigers?
Oh yeah. There.
Who the hell has a story about tigers? I mean, what? You got a story about tigers?
Oh, look at this little puppy. Oops, sorry. Travis is here.
Travis, hold on a minute. We got to do tigers before we do dogs.
Yeah, come on in here.
All right. Tiger story.
Yeah. So twice we knew that we had tigers around and we could hear them, and the tigers went around our RON, and we knew they were tigers.
Yeah.
They knew we were there, and we were all.
And they're looking for an easy meal.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, there are stories of both the Marine Corps, I think it was either the 101st or 173rd, where a tiger went in at night, nailed one, pulled him out, and ate him.
Yeah.
We had 2 KIAs, I think, from tigers. Now, for our guys, in our case, maybe we didn't smell as good as the other people, or whatever it was. But in the morning, we got up. The second time this happened to us, Sal showed us the footprint of the tiger.
And they're monsters.
It was big. They figured, like, you see a little pussy cat, you see a footprint, it's going to be a big... No. This was like this.
Yeah, us here in the States, we think mountain lions, we think wolves, you know. No, a tiger paw, it's like putting it in the print of like a black bear, except this is a feline velociraptor. It literally hunts in the dark. So you know why they didn't roll you up is because you guys had good security.
Maybe.
You were scared to death and you had your guns up.
Maybe they saw the claymore. We had claymores out for the RON. They didn't want to eat a claymore.
Smart. We've got a gentleman that just showed up. His name is Travis Hall. Catch this.
Yeah.
Travis was one of my, when I was company sergeant major, my old SIF company, I brought him in. He was working up at group headquarters, group med shed. He's an 18 Delta. I needed drivers and gunners for the Strykers for my assaulters to go hit targets in Mosul. I don't remember what year it was, 2010, I think. They all blur together.
Oh, yeah.
So I bring Travis in. Long story short, vehicle gets IED'd, and he gets compartment surgery. He's got cool scars where they had to literally fillet his forearm open. He gets put into rehab, everything, and never did make it to be one of our assaulters, but he wanted to go work with the military working dogs. Our SF, matter of fact, that's a picture of Rolex right there. You love Rolex. This is a picture from that deployment, and that's not Travis. That's Rolex's handler. Rolex was a monster, but Rolex, when we were training between ops, Travis would volunteer to be the guy in the bite suit. So everybody loved Rolex because Rolex would destroy a dude on target, eat him like a tiger. Literally, it was awesome. So Travis decides he wants to go be a canine guy and excelled at it. Actually retired as a canine guy. You got it. It's Velcro. You just push it on. You get it? Close enough. Perfect, John. He retires. Long story short, he gets his old military working dog back. His lifelong friend. That dog passes from old age. He has devoted his whole life now. Got his nonprofit, and this is actually his logo right here.
Oh, wow.
It's Second Chance Canine. This is actually a bottle opener. And his company's called Second Chance Canine. It's actually on these brass knuckles, too. Check those puppies out.
Get out.
Those aren't brass knuckles. That's a paperweight.
Oh, okay.
Made out of brass.
Indeed, yes.
That fits over your knuckles.
Just happens to fit.
So Travis has a nonprofit, and he was on here last Tuesday. And he had one of his dogs. What he does is he rescues dogs that are military working dogs that all these civilians buy because it's cool to get a Malwal or these shepherds and stuff. And nobody knows how to handle these dogs, so they get them. They pay big money for them, and then they put them in the pound to be put down because they can't handle the dog. He rescues these dogs, and instead of training them to be working dogs, he trains them to be service dogs for special ops guys that have got post-traumatic stress and other mental issues, traumatic brain injury, stuff like that.
TBI is nasty.
Yeah, it is. And Travis is, if I can do anything to help this boy, I told him I will gladly do it. So he had one of his dogs, he was here last Tuesday, got cataracts, literally can't see, like blind in one eye, 30% left in the other eye. We raised enough money last Tuesday to get that dog cataract surgery. That's how much we did it. Oh, but you got a little puppy here. So Travis, come up here. Here's what I'm gonna do. All right. No. Here.
No, you're good. I'll carry that around and just lift it over John's head.
Here's what I want you to do. Is I want you to sit right here.
Okay.
And
you gonna get up?
I'm gonna get up. But Travis.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mike.
John.
Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
All right.
My wire is
Share what you're doing tonight. This is I know you don't know who John is. John is one of my personal heroes.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna give you the seat, and he's gonna do the giveaway of those.
All right.
Carl, do you have another one of these?
Yeah.
What's that? Yes, right there. Right there.
Awesome.
That one's yours.
All right.
We knew you were coming.
Sir, it's an honor to meet you.
Pleasure's mine,
Thank
too.
you, sir.
We just had a transition of power.
Well, let me just say this before we get
Kuma, stay in here, Kuma.
Come here, Kuma. Come on.
My stepson, who was WIA, August the 20th, 05.
Oh wow.
His personal dog right now is struggling,
Oh wow.
and so we might be coming back to talk to you more
Yeah,
about
please
that
do.
later.
Please
Absolutely.
do. I get in a lot of trouble if I don't show this little guy to to Susan. So
To Susan.
Yeah,
Hello,
yeah.
Susan.
Susan.
He's a little badass.
So this is Kuma, and we rescued Kuma from Georgia. He was he was just kind of, he was being abused a little bit, but not terribly. He was being pretty neglected. He was like tied to a tree on a little chain, and so we heard about him and we scooped in and rescued him. And luckily, we have enough awesome supporters that help us to do that. And so so I was a dog handler in Special Forces.
Yeah.
And when my dog retired to me, I knew that was something that was special.
Sure.
And so we started, after he passed, we started a nonprofit to get that for other guys, and so we've been crushing it for a while, like Carl said, we rescued this one dog a couple, like a week ago, actually, like a couple nights before are you going to drink Carl's juice? Oh yeah.
Help yourself. Yeah. I'll hold it for you. Here. Have
There's
some.
probably something in
Yeah,
there he doesn't want though.
no, this is just coffee.
Okay. But yeah, so we
This is
rescued him.
Carl's serious drink.
I got him home, and I saw his eyes were kind of foggy, so we took him to the vet, and he needed cataract surgery, and
Wow.
and all the guys stepped up and helped us pay for that, because it's about $3,500 for cataract surgery. Kuma's perfect though; he's a baby, so he did have his teeth pulled the other day because he just got an underbite. So
Oh, is that right?
so poor Kuma doesn't have any bottom teeth right now. He's such a good dog. Susan,
Wow.
I brought him just for you. I hope you're
Indeed,
there.
Susan. Well, people have asked me, now that we've done the Jocko podcast, when I said, well, are there any Green Berets that deal with dogs? I said, you know what? I don't know the answer. Now I know the answer.
Yeah. So I was one of first 12.
Really? The first 12?
Yeah. So
What year was that?
2008, we started dogs.
Really?
Yeah. So I started dogs in 2008, and I was first 12. And I went on 4 deployments with my dog. It's kind of like an additional duty. It's not like an MOS. It's like you're an 18 Bravo or Fox or Delta, and you come over and you do dogs.
Even echoes are allowed to do that?
Yeah, even echoes. They're a little too analytical, though, for the dog. I'm stealing this.
Yeah, help yourself. That's
I love
good.
these. I love these things.
These are really good.
I went home and ordered
The
2
dog's
cases of these
drinking
that
out of
night. Here, you want him to...
We already got a taste. He's good.
Are you sure? Kuma, you want to taste it? Tell me, Kuma, is it bad in there or is it good? I was told
I don't care.
I was told by my patrons to mess with you. So but yeah, so we raised enough money to get his eye surgery. So we're pretty
Wow, no
excited.
kidding.
Yeah. You want to taste it?
Try it. Check it out. Oh, yeah, that's better.
Well,
He
Josh,
likes sugar.
There's a reason that Travis is here tonight.
Is that why?
We had Travis on one of the last shows,
Yeah.
and we actually auctioned off a class. We auctioned off.
Dude, it was so like confusing.
We auctioned off the brass knuckles. It's a Second Chance Canine. And we also did this bottle opener, which is pretty awesome, out of a whiskey barrel.
Yeah.
It is. I love it.
So Jason Knight donated all that stuff, and he donated the class, and he donated the online portion to his school, and he just started throwing stuff out like, hey, we're gonna donate this, and we're gonna donate this, and we're gonna donate this. And Carl and I didn't have Chad to help us keep up, so we were like, wait, what are we doing? Where are we at? And so I think tonight is the night that we're going to get it straight.
We're copacetic tonight.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman named Shane who ended up winning everything.
Really?
They did a package and they auctioned it off, and he won the auction. From what I understand, he then proceeded to say, I don't want any of it, and I want to give it all away.
Yep.
One of the stipulations on the class, I'm going to leave this to Travis to explain the stipulations on the class piece, but tonight we are giving away this and this.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he
Come back the other way. Towards
There you go. There.
I got it. Here, I'll do
There
it.
you go. You do it, John.
So yeah,
We're
Shane.
giving away this and these, which are not.
Other way. There you go.
Those are paperweights.
Paperweights, which are not brass knuckles.
Not brass knuckles.
They are not,
It's
but they
made
sure
out of
feel
brass.
good.
Just made. It's a paperweight made out of brass.
And they go over your nut.
They do.
So, Travis, go ahead and give us the details on the class giveaway, because that, I think, is probably the most significant kind of thing.
Yeah, let's do it. So, because I talked to Shane a bunch, I've been communicating with Shane, texting, calls, emails, calling Jason and Jason's staff. I think what we've decided on, and this is kind of like what Shane kind of hoped for in the beginning, just didn't get across that well, was the way we're going to give the class away at Jason Knight's Forge is we're going to ask you to nominate veterans to this class. So if you have a veteran in mind, if you have someone that you think is hurting, if you know someone that is hurting, or if you're a veteran, please nominate yourself. We want to find a veteran that can truly benefit from going to this course and pounding on steel and doing all, and the healing power that this place has. What I would like to do, Chad, if you could throw an email into that, if you would send an email to Joe, Joe, at Second Chance Canine.
Is this
that's
2ND?
Nope, spelled out.
Okay.
Second Chance Canine. SC. There you go.
Second Chance
Canine.com.
All right, email's going out.
And then Joe is going to he's going to go through all of your submissions. And the two questions we're asking is, how would you benefit from this as a veteran, or the veteran that you're nominating, and what would you like to see happen during this course? You're going to make a tomahawk with Jason. Carl and I, if Carl can make it, Carl's going to show up, schedule dependent. I will be there. And we will be there to hang out with you guys, relive stories with you guys and stuff like that. You do have to pay your own way to get to Kingsport, Tennessee, and you do have to pay for your own lodging it's a 4-day class. So again, if you guys have someone that's hurting, please let us know, nominate them, give us a short bio on why you think that they would benefit from this course. And we will go through those bios, and the board and Jason and everybody will kind of like go, this is the guy, and it's not going to be a random thing. We really want to know, like, pour your heart into this kind of thing. We really want to help someone.
Well, here we go. I'll help you out. If you get somebody that needs room and board for 4 days, then we'll find a way to make it happen from SOG Chronicles.
Yeah, don't let that be the thing that keeps them.
Okay, awesome. So if you can't afford it, but you still want to go, these gentlemen are going to make that happen for you.
We'll make it happen.
That's awesome.
So
I appreciate that.
Part of our SF family here.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
So let us know. Send us. Let me double check that email so I don't get it wrong. Let me text the household 6, and be
Home sync.
home sync.
Okay, so while Travis is doing that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the giveaway. John, which one do you want to give away first? Do you want to give the barrel piece bottle opener, or do you want to give
Well, I'm getting kind of tired, so we better get rid of the heavy one first.
Okay.
These are not brass knuckles. They are a paperweight,
It's a paperweight.
and it is really cool, complete with the logo down here at the bottom.
Second Chance K9.
Second Chance Canine.
Second Chance Canine.
So Jason's an awesome dude, and he donated 3 of these. So there's only three of these in the world. One I sent off to Nicole, who's our social media awesomeness. She does giveaways. She finds our super awesome people that like support us and stuff like that. Yep, it's just Joe at secondchancecanine.com. I was right. I had to check.
Oh, that's good.
And then better safe than sorry.
Right?
You know the routine, guys. TR that chat, and we're going to give this away here in a few minutes.
We got it.
TR.
So that's the first one. This is the heavy duty.
You kept the second one.
So actually,
we can do both.
Yeah,
I can just draw 2 winners.
Yeah, do that too.
We can just do 2 winners.
We'll do 2 winners.
2. First winner will be for the brass knuckles.
Travis, we do appreciate you, your third one, thinking of tactical riflemen and bringing it here.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We've got great people here. We really do.
So there's 3, and I'm actually like, someone's actually asking to buy my the set that Jason gave me. So I can't not, you know what I mean? Because it goes back to the rescue.
Goes back to the dog.
Yeah. So I was gonna keep a set, but someone's trying to buy
price is
it.
right.
Yeah.
They better bid high.
Someone.
You are so cut off. You are so cut off.
Yeah,
Josh.
Josh.
No more.
If you're still listening, Josh, that means get off your ass and drop the PayPal for the brass knuckles.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Chad, can you put Joe's email in there just one more time?
One more
So,
time.
Susan, can you go ahead?
There we go.
Joe.
So the hard alcohol Black Rifle coffee is.
it's
got me wired
It's the
here.
win.
I could drive to New York City tonight.
That's a long drive, brother. I've done that.
No, he
Yeah.
could do it. He could do it.
You guys are awesome. I just wanted to say thank you. So this is going to be given away tonight. We're going to put a 2-week on the nominations.
Okay.
So 2 weeks from today, the nominations close, right? So push this out. Talk to your friends. Tell them about it. We want to read and then we're going to take 2 weeks to go through the submissions and pick the right people or the right person.
Cool.
Come here, handsome boy. What are you doing? I know you guys are here for the dogs, so let me get him up here.
Indeed. He's better looking than we are.
Yeah, he is.
That is a good looking dog.
Isn't
What's the IV site for?
He had his bottom teeth pulled because he had an underbite.
Okay.
And so we're trying to fix it early, and then so we pulled all his bottom canines out.
Okay.
So that it could correct itself. We could have just left it, but we really try to be above. We try to give these dogs the standard of care that no other place is giving. And so it was expensive, and he had to go under anesthesia to get it done. But if it gives him a normal mouth, later on in life,
course,
we're willing to do it. So
We all want a normal mouth.
do you know Susan named this dog, right?
That's what you said.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Susan
That's
named
awesome.
this guy. So yeah, we're pretty stoked. He's been an awesome addition to the pack. So
Man.
John, we're glad to have you here.
To have a canine without canines.
I still got canines. Just
he's
the
got tops.
right?
Yeah, he's got tops.
Yeah, it's only half.
So it's
half
more
a
like
deck.
a Dracula now.
Let me see if he'll show.
Parrot, I guess.
He's not gonna show.
Hey, my buddy Landon texted me just now.
Yeah.
He said, hey, before John said that he'd handle the hotels, he said, I was about to offer to pay for the hotel. It's up to you, John. Do you want me to tell Landon that
We'll
he's
split
got
it. We'll do half
You
and
split
half.
it? You'll split
Yeah.
it? All right. I'll tell him.
Thank you, Landon.
Yeah, we've got great people here in
Oh, yeah.
our little
Dude,
tactical rifle world.
I try to limit how much I come on because I feel like everybody starts pouring money out at the rescue when I come on, and I'm like, guys, I just want to hang out with you. I don't need anything from you. Like you're just really fun to hang out with and make fun of Carl and Chad. So like
He came here last Tuesday and gave me a Valentine's Day pink bag.
I got my bag. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pink bag.
Pink bag with pink crepe paper,
Yep,
red
yep.
crepe, with a sexy Valentine's Day card. Be my Valentine.
Yep.
Literally everything. Thanks, dude. Way to go.
And Susan said, thanks for bringing Kuma.
Susan's he's gonna be big when you come to the Patreon event, Susan. I'm just letting you know. He's growing fast. He was little when I got him. Oh, he's like
I think we let John do the. Here.
All right, you gonna let John pick?
I think we let. Oh.
What am I picking?
Oh. I think we're gonna let John pick the winner on this here. I'm gonna take it to the screen.
Yeah.
Let's see.
this is my new jam, by the way. These things are my
These
new.
things are awesome.
Yeah.
dude.
Great.
All right, John. That mouse is controlling that there. If you look right there, there's a bar that says roll it. Click it once.
Down on the bottom.
Down right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Pick it once.
Once. Boom. Rocket Man 1975 is the winner of the brass knuckles.
Nice.
Whoa.
Dude,
Go ahead
so-
and whack that again.
Whack it. Whack it.
Roll it.
Cylon
Unknown.
won the bottle opener.
Dude, you guys are awesome, man.
All right, mods, please take screenshots of those and send them to me in the chat. For the winners, this is what I need from you guys. I need you to send an email to tacticalriflemanwinner@gmail.com, and we will get you taken care of and get it out to you as soon as we can. I need a picture of your main panel on YouTube, and then I also need you to make sure you have your address in there.
We'll get them mailed out.
We'll get them mailed out.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so
And
much.
you've got a nice run of chat too. Top chats rolling there. On the
People are
side.
trying to win it.
Oh, is that right? They're going for the gold or going for the brass.
They don't realize they done already lost.
What do I do, Chad? Well, there's a little bit of a delay. He knows. I said it.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So,
the Rocket Man.
There's actually one other thing that Jason donated, which is his online course. He has an online series that you can watch online and learn how to forge basically remotely. And we're gonna give that away next week. So if you follow our social media, our Instagram, Second Chance K9, we're gonna give that away next week.
Cool.
So
Awesome stuff.
yeah, man, Jason poured out the love when he was here. So we're just trying to like spread it out, keep it going, and be. What are you chewing on?
Tearing up all my stuff.
Right. Come here. What are you getting? Oh. He's a puppy.
All right,
Yeah.
Travis.
It's tacticalriflemanwinner@gmail.com. No spaces, all spelled out.
I don't know. It feels pretty.
comfortable?
It
Pretty
feels
nice.
pretty
Comfortable,
good.
ain't
You
it?
want to run the rest of the show?
It feels pretty good.
Got a
Maybe-
big full of coffee beans over here.
Maybe that's something we can do in the
Thank
future.
you,
Is
sir.
we can do Tactical Rifleman live streams with guest hosts.
Without
And we just sit here and
Carl.
laugh at
Yeah,
them
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
at the desk. No help.
Wait,
we just
what?
sit and...
All right, where are we at? Tell me where we're at.
Oh, you were going to. We left off. John was getting ready to share with us another. We just wrapped up the story about tigers. All right, John. Let's do.
We do another medic story.
do
Oh yeah,
another
medic story. Yeah,
Yeah,
There you
because
go.
we got all these
Getting in
deltas
front
here.
of the camera,
Well, I'm
John.
trying to get you on mic because there's only
I
3.
don't need to be on. You can.
Real quick, there was something I was going to say real quick. Oh, hey, I don't want to miss this question from Donor Box. John, Erica Hodgstetler, one of the first super chats that we ever got on a live stream was actually from Erica Hodgstetler. She sent me an email. She, in her first question ever to Tactical Rifleman, was, had Carl ever met John Stryker Meyer? So
That
we've
was
kind
the
of...
first thing she
Oh,
asked
really?
me, like 2 years ago.
Yep, this come full circle. So
All
she
right.
says, "This is amazing. We have John Stryker Meyer on the live stream. Thank you, sir, for joining us all tonight. Your books are great reads and also full of amazing stories. It still breaks my heart to hear Doug, the Frenchman, Le Tourneau, passed away. What another great hero he was. Carl, we need to raise money to give John Stryker Meyer all expert trip with us to our patron event."
Dude, we'd love to have you. Our
Yes.
Patreon course this year is going to be in Texas. We get together. We do. He's actually one of our medical.
Take that.
He's one of
Put
our
that on.
medical instructors. We do shooting, medical. We're going to be doing platform shooting from helicopters.
Oh.
Some survival stuff, tracking, and well.
And the M79 sawed off.
I can work on it. No
We might be able to
promises.
get that in Florida
No promises.
Florida.
with John or with us.
I will try. I will try to get you a M79. All right, but yeah, like Erica said, it would be an honor to have you come hang out with us. It's going to be a 4-day drink fest,
Oh no.
and no, we get together at night, spirits around the bonfire. We share war stories, and we just have a good time. People come with their spouses, they bring their families, their kids, and it's a great time without a doubt. So, anyways, consider yourself invited. I know Travis is coming.
Yep,
We'll
I'll be
talk
there.
more about the details later.
Yeah,
And Erica, thank you, because the Frenchman is the only Green Beret I know who was ever shot in the back 4 times and lived to talk about it.
Wow.
The rounds, they were on break, and the Frenchman went to stand up, and the NVA opened fire. 4 rounds went through his PRC-25 radio, went through his ruck, through his uniform, through his undershirt. Each round punctured his skin and ran out of energy.
Wow.
Oh, timed that perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it put him right on his face. So he jumped up, ready for a firefight, and the NVA just assumed he was dead. And he's the only Green Beret that got shot in the back 4 times, lived to talk about it. And then
Wow.
he got distracted. That night he took a shower, He took his jungle boot off, and the 4 rounds were in his jungle boot, and he threw him outside in the sand. Yeah.
Didn't even save him.
Welcome to the Secret War. That was his first mission.
That's see, you can't even make up shit like that. Now, if that was to happen in a movie,
Oh yeah.
everybody be like,
No,
that shit didn't happen.
Even Hollywood can't create something that bad.
Let's
No,
nip
really
this in the
can't.
bud right now. You cannot nominate Chad for Travis's giveaway. They're already starting their shit.
If you nominate Chad, he has to clean the bathroom over there. I don't know. We'll make him do something. Chad will probably be there anyways. Guys, don't nominate Chad. Chad will probably be there anyways.
Yeah, don't nominate Chad.
He will-
Honest, we have a lot of vets out there that are having a lot of problems. The VA, sometimes they think they're taking care of people by getting them the pain pills so they're not in pain.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of them wind up becoming addicted.
Oh no, thank you.
They're good for you.
They're good though, aren't they?
Oh.
Oh, I love them, man.
So actually, when I got hurt, I kind of lived through that.
Yeah.
You know, like I lived through the, you know, like they were working me with like 10 milligrams of morphine at a shot. You know, and so like that. You know, that dragon, you know, like when you're laying there and that morphine, and let me tell you, I could see how people get addicted to heroin because there is nothing in the world like it when that morphine hits you and it's flowing through your body as it enters your vascularity.
You can feel it, right?
Yeah. And you're just like, whoa, you know, and so I can see why guys get addicted, you know, and there came a point where they were just dumping pain pills on me, you know, and it was painful, you know, like I lost nerves, you know, and so I had to just, one day I woke up and I was like, that's it, I'm done, you know, like I just, about
Really?
six months into it, I was like, I'm done, you know, like I'm just finished, you know, like I'm finished with this, you know, and I quit the pills cold turkey. It sucked.
I can't imagine.
And,
After 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months of just, you know, oxys and whatever else they kept giving
Really?
us. Yeah, it was bad. So yeah, guys, if you're having problems, just stop, man. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck bad.
It will suck.
You have to do it.
You have to.
I'm gonna get you hooked on those. You know why?
hooked.
You know why I
Harlan,
started?
Let me give you your seat back.
You sure?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
All right.
I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. I'm gonna. I didn't want to be. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys, and I'm afraid that like I don't want to overstay and make you guys sick
It's all
of me.
good, man. It's all good. You know you're always welcome.
Oh,
dude.
Oh, yeah.
Sir, it was an honor to meet you.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you
Absolutely.
so much. Thank you for setting the way for us.
Well, thank you for carrying the standard forward.
No problem.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna take Kuma home and
Oh, I wanted the dog to stay.
Yeah. You can go, but the
you
dog's
have
gotta
too many
stay.
dogs already.
I do.
Brother. Thanks, man.
Brother, thanks for everything, man.
I'll see you later.
Yep.
Come on, Kuma. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
so I'm gonna fix my mic here.
And while you're doing that,
Yeah.
it's too bad he left, but we have another medic story if you want one more.
All right, tell you what. Do me a medic story real quick.
It's not going to be quick, though.
No, it does not.
We'll come back on the rebound then. But this one is from the third book, SOG Chronicles.
Okay.
And it involved one of
Third
the
book.
most...
You're writing a third book?
It's done already, it's out.
Really?
I just haven't mailed it to you yet.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
It's just one book
You
at
gotta
a
let me
time.
finish this one first.
Yeah, if we put extra pictures in there for you, help out, Sarge.
All right.
In September 1970, a month earlier, or 2 months, Premier Sihanouk from Cambodia left the country
Okay.
under pressure. And he had been the premier throughout the Secret War and the war in Vietnam, but Cambodia was a key player. He would allow the communists to do anything they wanted. We, the U.S., were held to strict standards of not having anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, on Thanksgiving Day, when we were using the 5-second fuses, when we left, I threw a Willie Pete down on him. He filed a formal protest with our government over that Willie Pete round, white phosphorus. And 2 days later, after that mission, I was on an ambush, ready to blow it, get a POW. General Creighton Abrams, the commander, pulled us out of the field because of that.
No joke.
It violated the rules of engagement for us. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
So the
So he
Sinek was gone. The
leaves,
communists are heading south through Laos
Yeah.
en masse. The CIA, outside of our area of operations, further west into Laos on the southern part, on the plateau down there, they had 5,000 men that were fighting the NVA that were moving south into Cambodia, and they were getting their ass kicked. They said, SOG, send in a diversionary unit to take the pressure off the CIA. Hence, Operation Tailwind.
Okay. Yeah.
September 11th, 1970, Operation Tailwind launched. Because it was so further west, they used Marine Corps CH-53 Deltas, the largest helicopter there was at the time, and they loaded up 16 Green Berets, 120 indigenous troops to go get on the ground and to create a diversion to draw the communists away from the CIA battle to us, to the Green Berets and their indig. And the commander was Captain Gene McCarley. And they went in, and as they're flying into the LZ, they took casualties going in. And
Bullets just going right through the side of the helicopter.
Yeah.
Thin aluminum sheeting. Yeah.
Yep. And so the last helicopter in had the medic, Mike Rose, and Gene McCarley. I think it was in the earlier helicopter, but Mike was stunned because in our operations, if there's any gunfire, you're compromised.
Yeah.
So you can't go in.
Yeah.
But this mission, they had guys getting shot on the helicopter. They left them on the helicopter to go back to base. The rest of them got off and when they're on the ground, they hit the ground running. Within 2 or 3 hours, they came to an enemy cache. And there was a great weapons find. They got intel reports. They had pictures of Ho Chi. They got a picture of Ho Chi Minh. And at the end of the mission, we have a picture of 2 of the SOG guys with that picture.
Nice.
They're there, and the demo men are going through wiring it to blow it up. Mm-hmm. And while they're at the headquarters in this enemy territory, in a base camp, the phone rang. A telephone rang deep in Laos.
This is an enemy telephone.
An enemy North Vietnamese Army telephone. It rings. The Green Beret picks it up. How may we help you? And so they wired it. They blew up all the stuff. They called the napalm runs, destroyed the enemy cache, tons of food, weapons. They got some intel reports out. And for every day and every night they moved. But the first night when they were set up in the perimeter, an RPG came in, exploded. It went past the Americans on the ground. Gene McCarley, who was the team leader, Captain McCarley, and Mike Rose, Gary Mike Rose, was the medic. And went past them, it hit something and exploded, so the shrapnel went backwards. Mm-hmm. And to this day, Mike has issues with a couple of his fingers based off of shrapnel wounds he received that night, the first night in the mission. Several of the others were wounded. 2 of the indigs were seriously wounded, 2 or 3. And to make the long story short, later that night, Gene's tactic was, we will move every night, every day to keep on the move. And they had air cover so that Spectre would be there at night to protect him, come in, hit the enemy troops. The enemy hit him at night. The next day, the enemy hit him again. They continued to move. And by the 3rd day, they had a few more casualties. And the CH-53 Delta came in to pick up the casualties. Mm-hmm. It came into the LZ. Mike Rose had the most seriously wounded, who they've been carrying in ponchos.
Yeah.
They improvised, had 2 or 3 poncho liners, and they carried their guys. Mm-hmm. And Mike was seriously wounded enough that he used his Car 15 as a crutch. He's the only medic on that mission. The helicopter comes in, and Mike and the teammate get ready to put up the first casualty, and the helicopter got hit, heavily hit. damaged, and they had to pull out. There's just too much gunfire. Left them on the ground. The team moved one more day through the night, again engaging the enemy in constant combat. On the day 4, September 14th, they were on the ground. They were getting ready to move, and Covey came out and said, first of all, there's weather coming, severe weather. We will not be able to protect you, so we're going to pull this out. Also, be advised, there's hundreds of NVA coming at you right now. And that Cubby ran out of gas. He had to turn around and go back. The team's on the ground. Hundreds of NVA are marching towards them.
And their forward air controller isn't there
gone
anymore. So nobody can give them close air support at all.
Captain McCarley was able to get a hold of, I forget his rank, I think he was a first lieutenant in the Air Force, Tom Stump, who flew an A-1 Sky Raider.
That's the one with the prop on the front of it, right?
Yeah, this is...
That name is really familiar to me.
He's an amazing pilot. On this day, McCarley was able to get a hold of Tom. Somehow, with the bad weather, Tom found a hole in the clouds, came down and made several gun runs that literally saved the Hatchet Force from getting wiped out.
Nice.
They continue on. Cubby comes back. First helicopter comes in. They extract troops. Second helicopter comes in, takes more gunfire. The third helicopter comes in, and they load up the intel, and all the intel reports are put on that helicopter. Mike brings in another wounded troop, and Gene McCarley was standing there on a radio directing another strike, and his radio man next to him in Didge was killed in action, right there. They take his body, threw it on the helicopter. They finally all get on, and they take off. Now, the NVA were coming up against them. They had also used tear gas to disrupt the NVA on the last helicopter. And the A-1 Sky Raiders dropped it close, danger close, killed the troops, had the CS in the air, but it is able to get them to get off. If they're taken off, they get hit by some kind of weapons. And the Marine door gunner gets shot in the neck. While they're taking off, the medic, Mike Rose, goes up to this guy, patches up his neck, he gets him on the ground, and this young Marine is like freaking out. And Mike tells him, if you were going to die, you would have been dead by now. You're not going to die. I'm going to keep you alive. Settle down. A great medic.
Yeah.
He saved that Marine's life. The helicopter continues to take off, gets hit again. As it's going over the first mountain, the pilot tells Covey, I just lost one of my 2 engines. They go over the second mountain, and after they barely get over it, the second engine goes out. Now here's a CH-53 Delta.
Which is a monster helicopter.
Huge helicopter.
Huge helicopter.
Yeah, they could carry 25, 30 heavily armed men, all their gear, maybe throw in a Jeep for something for good luck. Now he's like, he never trained on auto rotation with a full helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's a Marine Corps pilot, now in Laos, just flew over this mountain range, barely got past the granite faces of rock. Now he's descending, says, anybody see an LZ anywhere? And nobody said a word, because usually there's this chit chat back and forth. Covey would say, I see a spot here. Nobody said a word. So this pilot just continues to auto rotate down, and he sees a little spot that he thinks he can get to that looked like it would be a lake or a pond with some sand in Laos. Anyway, to make a long story short, he auto rotates in. The impact was so severe that Gene McCarley's teeth were turned into gravel.
Ooh.
As he was being ejected from the helicopter, along with Mike Rose, the medic. They crash land, they set up the perimeter, they get all the intel out, another helicopter comes in, picks them up, and they're able to lift off. When they got out, they had all the intel reports. Mike patched up that Marine. The other troops who were wounded, passed them up, gets back to base, and they had a little celebration, had their beer, just glad to be alive.
Yeah.
They handed out 32 Purple Hearts to the 16 Green Berets on that mission. On October 23rd, 2017, Mike Gary Rose received the Medal of Honor from President Trump
Nice.
for that mission.
I was just
So
getting ready
that's
to say,
our medic
please
story.
Tell me this guy got the Medal of Honor
He had the
in
DSC,
2017.
indeed, a few years after the action.
And I don't. I've had guys actually bitch because I would not write my guys up for Purple Hearts for perforated eardrums and stuff like that. I never. People would bitch because we wouldn't put each other in for Bronze Stars. I watched a 7th group guy get a Silver Star for manning the 50 cal on a Humvee. He never got off the vehicle. He manned a 50 cal on an armored vehicle. And the whole time I'm like, you wouldn't get that in 5th group. You just literally, you might get an RCOM with a V, but you sure the hell ain't getting a Bronze Star with a V. Let alone a Silver Star.
Well, maybe the writer saw the movie with Audie Murphy.
Well, yeah, but my thing is, we actually had a female in the Navy that was with us in Kandahar during the initial invasion of Afghanistan, and she actually wrote a paper, and she's an officer, everything, academic, and her job was, she was there with a platoon of SEALs, and her job was to write their awards, basically, is why she was there. And her paper that she wrote was how valor was going to have to be rewritten, basically, the definition of it, because modern battles with our UAVs and our satellite imagery and everything, that, you know, there just wasn't going to be any hand-to-hand fighting or anything anymore. So the bar for which we give out valorous awards, she, in her paper that she wrote, it's just, we're going to change that bar. And I want to say it was 2 days later, literally 2 days later, we did another raid, initial invasion of Afghanistan. And Tony Pryor, one of the master sergeants in my assault company, we hit 2 targets at the same time. Long story short, Tony Pryor comes in the room, number 1 man, number 2 man, instead of going with Tony, followed somebody that squirted out of the room. Tony thought he had a number 2 man in the room. He didn't. He was by himself. Shoots 2 guys. 2 other guys jump on his back. Tony snapped one of the guys' necks and then pulled his pistol, shot the other one, dislocated his shoulder. Long story short, Tony literally killed 2 guys with his bare hands, and he ends up getting a Silver Star literally 2 days after this chick had, this Navy officer had just said, yeah, valor needs to be watered down. So for us, you know, we advance in rank and everything. That was the bar that we grew up. You guys set the bar on just some of the insane shit that you idiots did back then.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. It's freaking crazy. Is that not crazy?
Say that again for the ones in the back.
No,
Because
no.
That's what it boils down
the
to.
amazing part is everybody's like, we're just glad that John,
Young
we're
and
just
dumb.
glad that you're alive.
Yeah.
We're just glad that you're alive. But
Oh, yeah.
you see, this is. Did you decide to join the military because you wanted to get a Bronze Star? That's not why you joined. No, it's not. You joined because you wanted to make a difference, and that's what makes your generation heroes, the World War II generation heroes. And it just bothers me so much when I see some of the stuff that people are bitching about in the military now. Mandatory sensitivity training and everything. We're not going to go down the rabbit hole of politics and everything. But John, I just, brother, you'll always be a hero to us, without a doubt.
Amen to that.
Amen, brother. I'm just glad to have you here, dude. I'm just glad to have you here, brother. Oh my God.
We're part of the SF fraternity. You know, we had our time. We were preceded by the originals. Now, I had the honor of working for a Green Beret original, who today is 88 and a half years old.
Really?
Last year, he beat the China virus twice.
Damn.
When he was only 87. He's still in shape. He's in better shape than most guys 30 years younger than him. He still runs a company as well as a nonprofit that helps veterans get affordable housing. That's why I was with him for, 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's the generation we looked up to. And of course, the World War II, our OSS brothers, and the 1st Special Service Force, and all those. And then that was our generation. And the generations that followed, my God. You know, you carry on.
I'd love to have you back on the show. And
if you got coffee, I'll be back. You got any more Black Rifle coffee? I'll be right back.
Hey, Carl.
Thank you, Erica, by the way. That's Erica Hotstetler.
Really?
She bought me that case.
Thank you, Erica.
Remember, she's the one that literally, one of our first comments ever was, have you ever met John Stryker Myers? And
really? Well, Erica, we thank you again.
Yeah.
And thanks for mentioning my hero, the Frenchman.
Hey, Carl.
Yes.
Urban Cowboy 19 Delta said that talking about Sergeant Majors in Iraq, Sutter City, ours would stand by the gate, and as we would leave the wire on a combat patrol, he would make sure our boots were bloused. That is one of those awesome Sergeant Majors.
No, guys, I'm here to tell you, even when I was company sergeant major, when Task Force Raptor rolled outside the wire, even if I didn't go out with them, even if I stayed back in and I watched it all on Kill TV, when helicopters came back in, when the convoy of Humvees came back in, my ass was out there in the parking lot to greet the guys coming back in.
Well, that means a lot, because when we came back, there would be guys at the helicopter with a beer. You carried on
exactly.
tradition.
We weren't allowed to drink nothing but NA beer in country.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I actually have a really good story about a Super Bowl party.
Ooh,
yeah. We're not gonna.
No, we're not gonna.
I don't want to steal your glory.
No. We're not stealing. We're sharing here. This is SF.
I think we're getting ready to. I think Carl's getting ready to kind of slow it down a little bit. Probably end it for the night, maybe, possibly.
Yep, possibly.
But
well, I've only been here 2.5 hours.
I'm with John. Here's the next one. I've
had two of these. I've had two.
This-
Evan Haffer at Black Rifle Call. We thank you for these. I'm
Thanks,
energized.
Yeah.
Hey, can we get that by the pallet, Evan?
We love Black Rifle
Evan,
coffee.
please.
I'll send Evan a note.
And EDC Coffee, one of our sponsors
EDC
tonight.
coffee.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Split Point is they got a good blend. No, they're
Thank
good.
you,
I love
EDC.
Black
They're
Rifle
point
coffee.
counterpoint on our coffee here.
You
There
like
we go.
that shameless plug for a sponsor there? You like how I squeezed that in? Right?
The funny thing is that we've got room for more than one coffee company.
John, no, you mentioned you notice I got him hooked on these things. Like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Somebody told me to take those away, and somebody else goes, Chad's smarter than that. Yeah, am I going to take something out of John's mouth? No.
So I was in. I
they're
read,
good.
and you mentioned it in your book that you could smell America. He mentioned it in this book right here that you could smell American tobacco and just tell the difference from local tobacco.
Absolutely.
And I noticed when I was in Korea as a private, I was up on the DMZ out in an ambush one night.
Oh, kimchi.
And I could smell kimchi.
Yeah.
And when I checked it out on the map, because we had thermals, there was nobody out there. I was smelling kimchi that they were cooking at a North Korean guard post that was over 1,000 meters away from me.
Holy shit.
And that stuck with me. Smart cookie, right?
Oh, yeah.
So fast forward.
You were so bright, your daddy called you son.
There you go. Look at the big head on this knuckle nuts right here.
We're having too much fun here.
So
You two are peas in the pod. We should've let you guys hang
everybody's
out
like,
together.
Carl, why do you eat chocolate covered espresso beans? These things taste terrible.
No, they don't.
Because
No, they don't.
I learned early in my career that, because I love coffee, you need caffeine to stay awake on guard duty. my sniper ops, like you had a 4 to 8 man team.
Right.
I had 3, maybe 4 guys. So spreading guard duty up, you're not getting very many hours sleep. You still have to maintain security. Guy looking through the spotting scope, watching the target. Guy pulling local security, and then one guy racked out doing priorities of work. You need coffee, but I knew if I was to make coffee on my stove,
Right.
they'd be able to smell it for miles. So I thought, well, I still need my caffeine. So I started doing chocolate covered espresso beans. And I'll tell you what, those things got me up and down the mountains in Afghanistan.
I wish we had thought of
many
this.
times. Dude, it's
See,
ingenious.
That would have helped us a lot.
But one thing though, what happens to this chocolate when you're in the jungle or you're in the desert? It melts, right? Not all the time. These would melt, by the way, because I take these kayaking in the summertime and they do melt. This particular brand, but you can actually get them that are coated with wax, and they don't melt. They get a little mushy,
Really?
A little mushy,
but they don't become one big solid chunk of chocolate like those do. Because I've been in the desert in Africa and had my chocolate covered espresso beans all melt, just a big bag of snot. They're not that good when they're melted. But no, dude, they're awesome. I will get you a bag of those for the ride home. They are truly. Those would have been good
I'm
in the
good to
jungle
go right now. Oh yeah.
Those would have been good in the jungle. I'm here to tell you.
I got a really good one for Parmilius Dion. He says, have you been back to Vietnam since the war? And if so, what did you think of it? And if not, is it something that you would entertain doing? Would you go back and check it out? That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a very good question. Thank you. No, I haven't been back to Vietnam. I can't afford it. I'm just a poor writer. And it doesn't fit our budget, with 5 kids and everything. Although they're all out of the house now. But my wife does have a dog, and we love that little dog. But no, and if I went back, all of my South Vietnamese team members, sadly, and a majority of the King Bee pilots, the Vietnamese King Bee pilots from our era, have passed. Now, in the U.S., there are still King Bee pilots here. But for my recon team, Hep, my interpreter, on our team for over 4 years, ran missions. He passed away July 8th, 2017.
So you actually kept in contact with these guys?
He another story, on April 30th, 1975, the day that Saigon fell, the day of infamy for the Vietnam War, Hep, his wife, was able to get to the airport in Saigon and was one of the last C-130s that left. And when Hep got to the airport, the C-130 was moving and the back ramp was at half mast.
Wow.
Hep came up to the C-130 began to move. Hep chased it, threw his child to somebody on the plane who caught it, pushed his wife over the tailgate where he fell down. He jumped up, ran and got alongside of the C-130, gaining more speed. And Hep was never a big runner, but on this day, he ran his little ass off. And an arm reached out and grabbed him by the shirt and pulled him into the C-130.
That is so badass, guys. You can't make that shit up. You just can't make that up.
Oh, yeah.
You can't make that up, man.
So the History Channel did a production that has been renamed several times since, but that production came out in 2000, and I was interviewed in it. And during that interview, hand me across the fence.
And you
the
what?
book.
Book. Okay.
This photograph on Across the Fence, I showed on that broadcast. I said, "This is my team."
Yeah.
And
which one's him? Which one?
Hep is the cool one with the sunglasses.
Cool one.
He
There
be-
we go.
Nice.
That's right.
why they grabbed him, because he.
Oh yeah, he'd be cool. Now Hep had the sunglasses on day or night. Even when he was coughing in the jungle, waking up the NBA, he had his sunglasses on. And of course, he spoke 4 or 5 languages, and Hep used to correct my English. That's how smart he was. Besides being a smart ass,
cool. That's cool.
but that's Hep, great guy. One of my all-time heroes, and we wept when we lost him. But his nephew saw the production on the History Channel. He called the History Channel. They called me. I called him. It's the nephew of Hep who lived 13 miles from my house in Oceanside, California.
No shit.
I called him
no
up.
idea.
No idea. His nephew was there. He gives me Hep's phone number, and I call up Hep, and we talk for the first time in 25 years.
Wow.
Thanks to the History Channel. And then during our conversation, Hep had mentioned that he was going to be coming to Orange County, which is north of San Diego County in California. He said, I'm coming out for a wedding. But he was busy. He was running a pet store at the time. I was working full-time in a newspaper then. Couldn't get a real job, so I'm stuck in a newspaper. No, I mean... and my wife Ann and I, we at that point, we had 4 teenagers and a newborn in the house. So we're juggling these things. So anyways, lost track a little bit. But I checked with... I'm trying to think. Hep... I wrote down and I talked to his nephew. I said, hey, when's Hep coming out for the, he had a wedding he was coming out for. So his nephew told me, I said, give me the flight. So when Hep landed at the Orange County, the John Wayne Airport in Orange County, I was there. He came off that plane. We got caught up and it was sweet. We were there for a while. He was tired. I was tired. I had to get to work the next day. He came in on a late flight. So I went up the next day for the wedding on Saturday. So after the wedding, we had the reception.
Yeah.
We got caught up. He came down to our house, and Anna cooked him a big dinner for him, his wife, and his nephew came by with his wife.
Yeah.
And I forget if he brought his kids or not, but he had two little kids and just dear people, hardworking people, you know. And that was it. So Hep and I connected. We had reunions. Hep would come out occasionally. I wish he'd come out more often, but but we talked.
Yeah.
And through him, we learned about Sal and so many other guys that were still alive. That when each one passed away, Hep.
Okay.
And we tried to get some of them to come back to the States, but we just couldn't do it at the time. But anyways, Hep, Nguyen Kong Hep.
Nice.
And then
that's awesome, man. That is awesome.
Just great people, you know. And these were guys. I'm alive today thanks to we used to call them little people, because the Americans are taller.
Yeah.
But it's a term of endearment between Green Berets and their indigenous troops. In our case, we called them the little people.
Yeah.
And you know, like when Spider Parks first introduced me to the team, we go into the team room, and Sal, Nguyen Van Sal, was the Vietnamese team leader on the team. By 68, he'd been running recon for 2.5 years. He was the one who could smell the NVA.
Yeah.
He's the one who kept us alive, because anytime we got close to enemy contact, we initiated, thanks to Sal and Hep. That's how good they were. And Sal turned to Hep and took one look at me. He goes, he's too tall, his feet are too big, and he looks stupid. Now, you know, Hep being the honorable Vietnamese, he wouldn't tell me what the hell he said. It took 6 months of me beating Hep up before he finally told me. And now, by that time, because when I'm on the team, I'm green as grass.
Yeah.
And Sal's the guy to the pro. He's been running recon across the fence for 2.5 years. I had to earn his respect.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yep.
That's the SF tradition.
John, we've got a troublemaker in the group.
Who?
Prepper 101.
Uh-oh.
He said, it's good to see Chad and John getting along and talking to one another. The BC and GIs have some bad blood. John is probably not tracking this.
I'm not, but that's okay. Uh-oh.
I had this given to me at the Patreon event, and I guess they want to see me wear my rice hat. I'm not Asian, by the way.
Just squat down.
You're not?
Squat down.
No.
Oh, you should pass, man.
Down.
Yeah.
Undoko da?
Oh, man.
Now look
You're
at the
buku
camera, though, so your eyes are more slanted.
There you go. You're buku dinky down.
Buku
Buku dinky down means you're crazy. You never fucking won. You mucho crazy.
There you go, Prepper. You got to see
You got it. What a troublemaker.
I'm not Asian, but we have some funny people.
You do.
We're not picking on Asian people, by the way.
No, we're not. No fools, no fun.
No, definitely not. If there's one thing you learn about Green Berets is if we're picking on you, it's because we love you.
That's right.
If we don't like you, we don't acknowledge that you exist. We just don't. And race, color, creed doesn't matter.
How many people do you have in your team?
Altogether, it'd be 12.
12. How many Americans?
In the beginning was 3, then at the end it was 2.
Okay, so I think you know where he stands on Asians, right?
I'm alive thanks to the Asian, and not to mention the South Vietnamese Air Force. The King Bee pilots were just so amazingly.
Yeah, you started off the live stream with that, praising them right out of the gate.
Had to.
That's awesome.
Had to.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I've got.
What do we got? A couple more?
I think I might have one more.
Bring it on.
Try one more. Nope, I don't see it.
Nope,
that was it. All right, so here's what we got. We have been going for, John, we've been going for almost 3 hours, brother.
We just got started.
I'll tell you what.
Hey, man, I'm wired.
Gents, and lasses, John Stryker Meyer's, his book, Across the Fence, a classic.
Available on Amazon. That's audiobooks.
Yep.
Oh,
and the book I'm getting ready to start reading is called On the Ground. And you have the third book, which is called
SOG Chronicles, Volume 1.
SOG Chronicles, Volume 1. Now,
And hopefully next month we'll start Volume 2.
Awesome.
In between doing some podcasts
How about,
with Jocko.
yeah, but what's the name of these podcasts going to be that you're doing with Jocko?
Let me say, this will be the exclusive for you, because this will be the first time that we're able to publicly report.
Y'all listen up.
First
This
time.
is important.
First time. Well, to hear us tell is really important.
There you go.
But Jocko has been kind enough to start a new series. We're going to call them SOGcast.
Okay.
And
instead of podcast, SOGcast.
Right, we're going to have SOGcast. I'll be the moderator. I'm going to interview SOG members. There are still many alive, fortunately, and we'll begin interviewing them. And Jocko has given us all the equipment to do the recording.
Yeah.
And we're going to do them in Tennessee, in White Bluff, Tennessee. And we'll do the recordings, and then I turn them over to his assistant, Echo Charles, who is our able-bodied master of the electronics world. Right. He'll edit them, and then Jocko Willink will post them on his social media.
Nice.
As of the last time I looked on just Jocko's, let's see, it would be the YouTube. He has 1,040,000 plus.
Oh yeah, I mean
subscribers.
He's so much larger than
so
we
the
are.
SOG stories have gotten out to a broader audience.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'll be forever indebted to Jocko for that.
He runs a great show.
We're not gonna ever grow that big, people.
Yes.
Well, you never. No, don't say
yes,
never.
We will.
Hey, with Chad here, you know what I mean? We could be growing. A little fertilizer or some more coffee beans.
608,000 people. You never thought we were going to get there, Carl.
Yeah, because I told the film crew when we first started this channel that I wasn't going to do the jackassery. I wasn't going to blow up Tannerite and shoot aliens and we just weren't going to do all the jackassery. So I said I wanted us to have a professional channel about how to shoot, move, communicate, and we've since grown this. And John, it's been a pleasure having you.
It got a little rowdy tonight, though.
Yeah.
Did we violate your protocol?
No.
Actually, it was a little more mellow than we usually are. You'll break out next time.
We'll get you out of your shell next time.
Yeah, I got to stop being so bashful.
He's going to be a regular, I got a feeling. I mean, he's less than an hour away.
A little over an hour.
Can I borrow your Black Hawk just to avoid the 24 traffic?
Actually, we know a Little Bird pilot.
Oh, we do know a Little Bird pilot. He sent us a picture from inside the cockpit today.
Yeah.
He was
He
was supposed to come meet us. He's like, I'm busy. And the picture was that inside of you can recognize the bird because of the glass bubble. It was not a MH60. It was an AH.
I was giving him frontline traces on our way home, seeing if he was going to try to hunt us down.
Good stuff. All right, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors again tonight. Sportsman's Guide, EDC Coffee. Again, use that promo code TACTICAL. Big Daddy Unlimited, Global Ordnance, White Label Armory, and Safe Life Defense. please, I ask y'all, be loyal to our loyal sponsors, because these guys sponsor us here every Tuesday. And
Amen, Airborne.
yeah, guys, I've got to be able to pay the bills, because you guys know the deal. YouTube demonetizes 3/4 of our videos, and I got to be able to pay the bills. So big thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to John again for coming.
Pleasure to meet you finally. I heard a lot of things about you too, brother.
Yeah, none of it was true. I'm sure.
None
It was an honor, John.
Honor to meet you, sir. Absolutely.
Before you bail, before you coin me,
The young SF guy trying to.
those of you that don't know, an SF guy has to have a. Now you know all military units have coins.
Challenge coins. they're
Challenge
called.
coins. Mine is still beat up. It's got my SF units logo on it. On the back is a quote by George W. Bush: "We will bring you to justice, or we will bring justice to you." This is my old unit coin, and this is the one out of my wallet. If I do not have this coin on me and somebody slaps it down in the bar, I don't have my coin. I have to buy a beer for everybody in the bar. If I have my coin and everybody else does, that gentleman has to buy for everybody. There's about 20 other rules that go with these, and I was taught all of them in 1993 when I first earned my beret by some old Vietnam Green Beret wives, the wives of the Green Berets. And they made me promise that I would live by these rules. And you only give away your coin. Understand, I'd rather give away that weight in gold bullion than I give away my Special Forces coin. Brother, thank you for everything that you did. And truly, I consider you one of my heroes, brother, without a doubt.
Well, let me reciprocate, because we have here my SOG coin.
All right.
That's personally designed as a SOG coin, and on the front is MACV-SOG. And the back, we have a small image of a king bee with bullet holes in the tail section.
Nice.
I'm going to say, Carl, if he had actually coined you as a non-partial judge, that one would totally be
Would
yours.
Trump mine?
It would totally, because that's got a MACV-SOG.
Yeah, but that's like, this is 24 years after you had your coin made, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not fair comparison.
But it's got MACV-SOG.
But this is like, whoa. But thank you, sir.
Well, likewise.
All right.
I
Privilege
will.
is mine.
I have quite the coin collection.
It's pretty extensive. I was pretty impressed with that coin collection.
They all have a story. I actually got a coin that has 60 minutes written on it. That's gay, right? Oliver North gave it to me in Baghdad while he was working for 60 minutes. Literally every one of my coins has a story. This one right here, likewise, it's got a great story behind it.
And more stories to come.
More stories to come. The time we here at Tactical Rifleman on Tactical Tuesday had a in-person guest, John Stryker Myers from MACV-SOG legend, author, and just
survivor.
Great.
You and I are both. We're all survivors here.
Survivors.
That's right. You've been through a lot too, brother.
Well,
Airborne fraternity. You're part of this, man. You're there.
Sexy coin,
I will tell you
guys.
this, John. From a helper to tactical rifleman, this is probably the most iconic show we've done. I gotta say, no disrespect to any of our previous guests. No disrespect to any of our previous guests, but you are probably one of the. This is the highlight of the Tactical Rifleman live stream. I'm sure Carl agrees.
Oh, without a
me.
doubt. Without
Really?
without
You
a
are.
doubt. Yeah,
You
having you
it's an
on,
honor
dude.
to have you
This
here.
is it. No, dude, you're one of my legends. Seriously.
Wow. I'm truly honored.
Whenever I see the MACV-SOG logo, I see him. You know, I see him every once in a while at like a gun show or middle of nowhere.
Right.
And guys, remember when you see that old crusty 800-year-old vet with his baseball hat on that's got the CIB and all the little patches all over it, and he's walking with a cane, and you're pissed off because he won't get out of your way. You remember at one time That son of a gun was more badass than you'll ever be in your whole freaking life. Ever.
Yeah.
And I don't care how Leonidas your beard is or how many days you spend on arms skipping leg day and how many tattoos you have. On his worst day, these old Nam and World War II vets were so much more badass than I or you will ever even dream of being.
Can we say salt of the earth?
Salt of the earth.
I will tell you, have you ever met John Plaster? You do much with him?
Of course, yeah.
He was actually, back when I had the honor to go into sniper school, I got it on a re-enlistment while I was in Iraq. And to me, going to sniper school is the highlight of my military career. And I had reached out to him.
That's what I wanted to go to. It ran out of time.
Yeah. He
we're too busy not dying.
Yeah.
But John Plaster, yeah.
I had sent John, I ordered his book. He's got a really good book that talks about the history of snipers and that kind of stuff. And, and I had ordered the book, and I had put in the notes like, hey, I'm getting ready to go to sniper school and stuff. And he actually signed my book and wished me luck and all this. And he sent me every single fucking book he had in his catalog.
Really?
So before I even went to sniper school, I was reading his MACV-SOG books and getting all motivated. And like Carl says, and I got another buddy, Chris, that says that, you know, if I'd stayed in the Army, I probably would have ended up a Green Beret just because of that kind of influence I had through. I would have ended up trying to be a Green Beret. I don't know if
you
I'd
would have
made
made it.
Through, but
100
No doubt in
men
my
will
mind.
test today.
but only
Indeed.
one will make it.
No, 3.
Three?
Three.
It's actually up to like 5% now. Or
Oh,
something
wow.
crazy
What are they
shit
being
like
soft?
that. Well, they weren't medic. They weren't medic.
Well, you know,
Camel guys.
when we went through advanced infantry training, so being a baby SF, we listed, basic training, AIT, go through the test and stuff. And then there's this crusty old sergeant. And so anybody that had
Who was
applied
probably
for
like
SF,
25.
Listening
Crusty
to
old
John
sergeant.
say crusty old sergeant back in
Well, this is
Vietnam,
back-
like, I'm thinking,
now remember, I'm 21 then.
I know.
So I'm at AIT down
Oh,
at
yeah.
Fort Gordon, Georgia. See, and the way he worked it was all the guys that didn't make it, who had come in, did the test. He said, he read off all the names, said, you guys are done. Have a nice day. The guys that were left said, you guys go outside and we'll call on each one. I'm the last one that he called in. And I go in, and he goes, okay, now you're on the list here. He said, you know, you're really lucky. I said, what do you mean? He says, lucky that we lowered the standards.
Oh, shit.
He said, you're in.
On that note, we're going to save it for next time. It has been awesome. 3 hours tonight. You guys are awesome. And
you really lowered your standards tonight.
No.
no,
I believe that in the future we're going to be held to a higher standard, and they're going to be, how come we can't have quality guests like John Stryker Meyer?
It's all good. It's all good. All right. You guys know the deal. We'll see you on our next live stream. It'll probably be next Tuesday. Y'all take care and shoot straight.
Like a bad dream, I'll be back.
Incoming right there.
Why are you here? I said go. I said go. Go.
Go.
Go.